Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely. Metaphysics, if it isn't,
Hello?
Yo,
Yo.
what's cracking, brother?
Chilling, good sir.
Mm,
Can we
right.
have a dramatic reading of that? I think that may be the most poetic verse of woman hatred I've ever
Oh
witnessed. Somebody
my
went
god.
to great lengths to handcraft that elegant phrasing.
Yeah,
That was an
that's
amazing
bars.
piece. Yeah,
That's some
it's
bars right there. Saint
a
Thomas
desirable
Aquinas, bro.
detriment. Yeah.
Saint Thomas Aquinas. This guy is a legitimate saint. A saint.
Mhm.
And his okay, so he says, what else is a woman but a foe to friendship, an unescapable punishment, a necessary evil, a natural temptation, a desirable calamity, a domestic danger, a delectable detriment, an evil of nature painted with fair colors. And to continue on in this barcraft that we have going on right now, women are by nature instruments of Satan. They are by nature carnal, a structural defect rooted in the original creation. Son called women a structural defect. Like, God, you did pretty good with all this other stuff. I like the fruit, the animals are cool, rainbows, all that shit. But women, you totally fucked the blueprint on that one. They're terrible. They're horrible. It's a structural defect. It's going to collapse all of civilization if they're not brought under heel.
The gentleman is certainly entitled to his opinion. I would point out, this is a man who also, it's kind of like once you, like, if you buy a car that's a piece of shit and you got caught up with the bells and the whistles, you knew you couldn't afford it, you knew it was a bad decision. You could have got
Yeah.
the economical car. You could have got the car that was going to last you. The upkeep wasn't that great. It wasn't as pretty, but it was going to take care. And you have to justify your bad decision. So you keep pointing out, well, the other car kind of sucked. This is a guy who said, look, I'm never, ever having pussy. Ever.
Ever.
Until
Never.
I die. I'm going to die with blue balls and be perpetually unsatisfied. And I'm committed to this. And maybe this wasn't necessarily God's idea, but I've accepted that it is, and this is what I'm going to do. So I feel like that if we're going to take it all into context, I think this dude kind of has to justify his decision.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty harsh, because I would also point out that woman has also been called the crown of creation, because if you're believing the biblical account, as Mr. Aquinas I'm sure does, right? He was a saint. I mean, that's a prerequisite. You believe it, right?
Right.
Um, After God made women, He didn't make anything else. Kind of as I'm done here. I can't top this. I'm not. What else am I gonna do?
Or he
Look
knew
at
he
these.
completely fucked the recipe. It's like if you're cooking a bowl, like if you're cooking a pot of chili and you go to put in the red pepper flakes and the top comes off and you dump the whole bottle of red pepper flakes in it, you just leave the kitchen.
Right? You're like, they'll figure it out.
Fuck it.
First bite, they'll know somebody fucked up. But I'm
So,
not claiming it.
so one of
Maybe
the
that's
two.
why he hasn't showed up since.
Yeah, he can't
It's
show his
like,
face. He
ooh,
can't show his face. It's like you come
about
here.
those titties.
Yeah, your uncle comes to visit you and shit, and he's in the house by himself. You come home, there's shit all over the walls. You fuck the whole house up, and then you just never see your uncle again.
Right, right. And your piggy bank's been broken. The
Right.
money's missing.
Yeah, he took the TV. Yeah, you're never gonna see him
Silverware.
again.
Yeah.
He's gone forever, and that's it. That's what he saw. What he did. He was like, I might have made the box too good. I might have made it too nice, I don't think I can ever come back here again because I know how this ends. I've done it a few
People,
times. I fucked up. I'm sorry, but I'll be back in a few thousand years to see how bad it is.
and maybe that's why the life on planets are so far away. Like these motherfuckers can never get together and exchange notes.
Right, right.
Like just
It's terrible. It's terrible. He confused our languages, right? The whole galaxy is the Tower of
right.
Babel.
Like,
Everybody was in
okay.
planetary alignment. He's like, no, slap that shit down. Oh, all of it's terrible. But I mean, some of this shit came from the witch. Is a book called The Witch Hammer. The Witch.
That's the name of it. I
Yeah,
forget the name of it. There's a famous book I'm sure I read,
the
or
Malleus
maybe I'm thinking of Saint
Maleficarum.
Francis of Assisi. I
Mm.
can't remember.
It's
But Thomas
Malleus
of Aquino.
Maleficarum. That's the Witch
Okay.
Hammer. And Thomas Aquinas, and I guess him and a few other people totally agreed on this shit. I saw some quotes from Aristotle too. I think Aristotle said women were like a defective man, basically. That's kind of what he said. Oh yeah, women are deficient and misbegotten by nature. Like she's just for the procreation of the species. Like to get, you need to make more people, definitely. But other than that, they're just horrible to the bone marrow. We just need them to pop out babies. That's it. Nothing else. Everything else we can handle between men.
Yeah, it's a little harsh. It's there's that quote from Solomon too. It's like, hey, one man out of 1,000 I found to be righteous, but a righteous woman I've never found.
Mm,
And it
wow.
seems to be it seems to be a little harsh. Like, listen, we know a decent human being is hard to find. You might find one out of 1,000, but a bitch that's not sorry doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
No wonder they don't talk.
It
They don't quote that guy too much, do they?
it seems a little, and it kind of makes you sympathetic to the, obviously we live in different times, different culture now, but it kind of makes you sympathetic to the blue hairs and the purple hairs that are ranting about the patriarchy, because you know there's definitely some smug, indefensible ugliness that, it's easy for me as a man probably to say, there's a glimmer of truth there that resonates with me,
Yeah.
because I know what he means. I know what he means when he says, a desirable calamity or whatever it was,
Mm.
a desirable detriment.
A
You know,
delectable detriment.
A
Like I said, it's gonna kill me, but I gotta eat it. Delectable detriment, desirable calamity, a domestic danger, an evil of nature painted with fair colors.
I
Whew.
just think that's a little unfair.
Mm.
That's a little unfair. I do like, because listen, I've always accepted the whole notion of the crown of creation. I never thought about it as like I'm skipping out on the bill, like, oh shit, I've gone too far. What have I done? No one can know I did this. But
Yeah.
I've accepted the notion that's like, yeah, I made man, he's all right, but I made woman. All right, I'm done. Let me not fuck it up. Let me not be Michael Jordan on the Wizards. Let me
Right.
go out on that three-peat.
Right. Right. I get to make the 3 point shot at the buzzer and then walk out of the stadium with my hands still in the air. That type
Yeah,
of
the
shit.
greatest ever.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what you
That's
would
how.
think. That's a privilege to to reside in that energy. Both of us understand that completely. That's a privilege because there are men out here who are gonna tell you the worst of the worst stories. Broken men. The graveyard's full of them. The prisons are full of them. A lot of people have found some serious calamity around the wrong women. So I
Yep.
totally understand. There's not many things on this planet that can be as amazing and as detrimental, I think, as a woman. Like it's really both extremes, and I would understand both ends. But I mean, maybe it's because I can't really process how somebody might feel the same way about men. Like I just don't see. Maybe I don't know. Maybe women do have this I don't know, this romanticized idea of a man that could exist for them, but I don't know. It feels like that's expressly energy that's aimed at women. The
Well,
pedestalization, the whole like supernatural element to it. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper. It's really deep. But I understand how it could go both ways for sure.
look, neither one of us had to sue our ex-wives for $50 million.
Right.
So we're definitely speaking from a place of privilege.
For sure. I understand that completely. I know people who've gone through shit. I've seen I
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah, we know what it is to pick the wrong woman. And Lord forbid you got kids with her. Oh, buddy. Yeah, you might just eat your own shotgun eventually. Like that's how that shit like that happens all the time. So I get it. I totally get it. But to hear these people, these guys are writing books. So this guy, the Malleus Maleficarum, was the witch hammer, and these guys wrote this book and traveled around the country teaching people how to hunt witches. Where there are with where there are many women, there are many witches. Like that was their whole shit, pretty much.
Wow.
So they were respected, they were popular, they were traveling salesmen going town to town. Like y'all need to set up like a system where we can like first of all, you got to put them in this contraption and crush their thumbs because that's how you're gonna know if they're witches or not. Like this is at that time these crazy ass things they would torture people with and all that shit. So just imagine being these guys and riding around town to town on horses and shit like that and selling basically what's a product. You know, it's definitely a product, and it was successful enough to where it created a legacy of the witch burning and all of that shit. That's a huge part of this country's history and Europe too. They was getting busy in Europe too. Like I don't want to let them off the hook, but that's a huge part of the history here. Like people were really like, yo, I seen this woman in the woods picking flowers and shit, bro. Fuck is she doing? Probably trying to put a spell on somebody. Let's kill that bitch.
Are these bitches learning? Are they sharing ideas?
Right. What are you
What are they
doing?
what are they plotting over here?
I don't know. She's making some kind of tea. It was hot water and some herbs. I don't know, man. I think we should just kill her just to be safe. That's that. I mean, that's pretty much was the conversation. No, I was trying to bang her. She said no. So the only way to rebuff my charm is magic. We gotta kill this bitch. She's doing something. Like you can't just say no to me. I'm awesome. So if you don't want to bang me, you gotta be a witch. I don't know what percentage. I mean, this is I'm freestyling now. I
We're
don't know what
speculating.
percent.
Yeah, we don't have the documents.
I don't know what percentage of these guys killed women for the magical power that is telling them they don't want to have sex with them. But I feel like that was probably part of some of the mathematics that was going on during the witch hunts. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It's hard for me to believe that there's a lot of sincere witch fear. It's just hard for me to fathom. Yeah, it maybe was a different time, but even if you're working yourself up into a frenzy, like, we got to be on guard for these witches, you still got to look at somebody as you sentence them to die and watch them burn at the stake.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like, are you sure? You're sure? You're absolutely sure?
Well, she
I don't
screamed
know.
when I put her feet in the fire.
Right.
So
that is so she's in heaven now.
she's a witch. I
So
mean, shit.
we were wrong. If she was really a witch, the fire wouldn't have burned her. So we've learned. What have we learned today, Tommy? Well, that Janine was not a witch, and that when five women are gathering together and trying to teach each other math, clearly the devil's work is
Yeah.
going on.
They were naked
I mean,
too.
yes, I get it. I get why they're, and I guess that's what people like, because the same people that would be embracing this, right, and complaining, and this is just more examples of how everybody's full of shit. There's a lot of people who would consider themselves, what do they call themselves? Trads. They're traditionalists. They're
Right.
trads. Okay, and they would say, yeah, he's absolutely right. This is why we have all these problems in our culture, and why men and women aren't staying together, and families aren't bonding, and children aren't being raised right, and culture's going to shit. This is what happens when you give women free reign to simply not be our obedient property. this is the kind of society that you get. And if you just take it at kind of just first glance, you're like, ah, well, shit is kind of fucked up. I guess that can make sense. But if you dig a little bit deeper and say, okay, well, what else was going along with these notions of delectable detriment and sexy calamities? Well, uh, there was some indiscriminate woman killing. I mean, on very flimsy grounds. When they expressed any kind of like, are you talking back? Are you clever? Like a woman could never be clever on her own. Clearly, the devil
Right.
has helped you with your intellect so that you beguiled. You've been beguiled, and you're making me look bad, and you outsmarted me. And a woman could simply not be this intelligent. Clearly, the devil has augmented your abilities.
Yeah,
So
I yelled, "Shut up, wench," and then she came and she quipped right back at me. Like she just right back. No time in between. There's no way a woman could do that. This says,
she insulted my cock, girl.
oh, there it is, done, dead, dead, killer, burn her house down. The Malleus Maleficarum claims that witchcraft stems entirely from carnal lust, which is allegedly insatiable women.
Okay, so this is even more silliness. So, dudes
Oh,
that are fucking and raping who at this point in
no,
human civilization have at least 5,000 years under their belt of taking over pieces of land and fucking all the women. All men's ideas. No women are at the helm of this enterprise. And then you got the nerve to say these bitches can't stop fuck. They just can't get. They love dick. They love dick so much. Like, you don't think this is maybe a little projection? A little bit?
oh yeah, yeah. We came to town. We raped all the women. And we fell asleep, and they just got up and walked away. They're insatiable. We got to kill them. We all fell asleep. We were just spent, and they just got up and left. There's no way. It's impossible. Gosh, dude, this
They
shit
had to
is
been going and
madness.
looking for new dick.
Right,
That's the
exactly.
only answer.
They was trying to steal more souls.
And really, they're just meeting in the forest to like work out their trauma. Like these vile, rapey, grabby bastards.
Yeah, they were cooking some kind of brew. Like, yeah, that was salve for their injuries.
Right?
No, it's
They
magic. We
didn't
gotta
want to
kill
have your baby.
it. Oh yeah, that's evil. You can't do that.
Right? Their
God,
village was just taken over, and they were all raped, and they just weren't that into you.
how
Is
could
that
they
so
not
hard to
be?
believe?
Yeah, how could they not be? Look at me. I'm a conqueror. I rape. I'm attractive. This shit is madness. It's amazing that this is actually. What is good that it's still around for people to actually tap in with and see what the consciousness was of people back then. Like it definitely hasn't gone away. It definitely
No.
hasn't gone away. It's gotten a little bit more smoother in its delivery. I don't think very many people would say the type of shit that they were saying in this book, but that's kind of what they allude to. I mean, this is pretty. I mean, listen, I don't want to be hyperbolous here or whatever the word is, but this is
Hyperbolic.
hyperbolic. There we go. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but this is pretty much what Fresh and Fit are saying about women, right?
I
Like,
think it's word for word. If I think if you mistranslated the Latin just slightly, you would essentially get what they're saying,
right.
word for word.
Yeah, I feel like there's people on YouTube or definitely BitChute. There's people on BitChute and all these channels right now who are basically saying what the witch's hammer document was telling people about the evil of women.
If you ran an algorithm and extracted all of the data from BitChute comments, you'd basically get this. You'd
Right.
find it in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's harsh. But I totally I get it. Like I said, the danger that comes with this shit because you want to be as a dude, right? You want to be powerful. You want to be virile. You want to and for some reason, men have this. We have this correlation with violence and sex. Now, who was it? In Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick did a lot of put a lot of spotlight on this thing in Full Metal Jacket. There's a lot of really subtle shit in there where sex and violence are kind of interchangeable. Even to the point we're saying sex is banging, or the prostitute in Vietnam is saying make boom boom while bombs are dropping and shit like that. You know, so it's like this weird correlation that dudes have, but you want to be able to destroy, right? Like, oh, kill it, I'm gonna smash it, all of this shit, and realistically, I mean, just keeping it real, like you know that if she wanted to, she could put you and 10 of your homies to sleep. That's a
Yes.
hard pill to swallow. Like you don't want to think about that, but it's true. It's true. You guys are gonna tap out and be down for the count before she is. Remember that one spoken word piece from the Root? Was it like the Roots album? Was it, or was it Common Sense? I think it was the Roots album where she does this spoken word piece about a whole bunch of guys running a train on her, and then at the end she kills them all because they don't know her name. You remember that
Hmm.
at all?
I don't remember that. That's not ringing a bell.
I gotta find it. It's a spoken word
I
piece.
think you probably because the Roots for their first couple of albums, they had that chick like at the last song for every album.
Right,
So I would think it would probably be the Roots, but I
right.
could be wrong.
Yeah, it was. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But I remember listening to that.
What was it? The Unlocking? Can't remember.
Hmm. I just remember listening to it and her, like, basically at the end of it, like she's explaining the sex that she's having with all these guys, and she's like, "Yup, one down, two down, three down," and then at the end of it, she pulled the strap out. It was like, "All right, now what's my name? Say my name. If you don't know my name, you die." Like, holy shit, you're screwed. You guys are all screwed. Every last one of you, bro. Literally and figuratively screwed. But that's a hard pill to swallow for men. So if you're not in touch with your psychology, this is a recipe for murderous rage. As we've seen that's not a surprise. We know that dudes are completely capable of it, especially when it comes to quote unquote crimes of passion type shit. It's madness, absolute madness. Come from fear and wanting some, like you said, what is it, delectable detriment, right? This thing is going to destroy you, but you can't walk away from it. You got to get there. I got to have it, but it's going to tear me apart. Fuck it, let's go. And people suffer because of it. Everybody suffers because of this dichotomy that dudes have to wrap their heads around. And some of them are not doing a good job at it. That's why they need women to be furniture. You need them to be mindless drones, no autonomy. You need her to be completely financially crippled. So she has no other choice but to worship you as the provider and all this other shit. If you put them on level playing ground, if she can afford her own life and buy her own shit, pay her own rent, and you don't have that bargaining tool to bring her into your captivity, what else have you cultivated as a human to make her just want to be with you?
And can we just say that that's soft rape?
Yeah,
I mean that's soft
yeah,
rape.
it is. It
It's
absolutely
it's
is.
it's basically like, yeah, I kind of, but I guess I will. You've cut off all of my routes of exits. I have basically no options. I can't get educated, I guess. I mean, the reality is neither sex really wants equality. Neither one of them
Mm,
really want it. Like the traditional man is just brazenly open with the fact that no, 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 you're not equal. I don't want you. And I think you hit the nail on the head is insecurity is at the root of that. If you can go get another one of me, like what do I do? Like do I just become better so you don't want to get another? Do I treat you well so that doesn't no, 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 no. I cut off all your means of escape.
right.
So I don't want equality. I don't want equality. So neither party wants equality. Women are just a little more dishonest about how they don't want equality. Because they'll say, oh, yeah, yeah, I want equality. I want to have access to all of those things. Oh, plus be chivalrous. Plus, don't punch me. Please don't punch me. I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want, but don't punch me. Which,
Mm,
again, I agree with, but, I was in a conversation with my wife today, and we were kind of talking about, um, men live with that because she'll fly off, and I've been punched in the face enough to know that I'm gonna be particular with how I talk to somebody, and it's like there's just a difference because there's just not that, very rarely as a woman you speaking to a man will you get punched like if a man spoke to another man that way.
Right.
Not to say that it's right, not to say that, yeah, it's just words, but we all know, like, whatever the ideal may be, when you go out and about, you never know who you're dealing with. And if you're not polite, that can be, that can be a gateway to an ass whipping. And women live with the privilege of, yeah, he's probably not going to hit me.
Probably.
I can insult. Yeah, I could probably not. It sucks when they're wrong, but the numbers show that you got a solid probably, because you don't go out into the world and see a whole bunch of quiet women.
Oh
So
no, not at all.
from the from the levels of the complaining and the threats, clearly there's a lot of women that feel very very comfortable talking to people however the fuck they want. So there's just and I'm not saying I'm fine with that. Yeah, you're a woman. Do say whatever you want. Nobody should put, especially a man. No. Yeah, it's a little rude, it's whatever, but that's the exchange. That's the acknowledgement that we're different. There's double standards. There's different rules, and I'm fine with that. But I guess where the perpetual argument that is on, that we still haven't figured out. There's yet to be an equilibrium. Is okay. What are the righteous terms of engagement then? Like, obviously, there's one extreme where you're my property, you can't be trusted, bitch. Don't ever learn anything. Don't talk to your friends. Don't have no options. Be with me because I've cut off all means of escape, and basically be my property. Right? That's an extreme. It's an extreme that has been the status quo up until very very recently. I think it's fair to say, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's not righteous, but then what's the alternative? I think we're living with the response, and the response isn't good. Like, oh my god, the OnlyFans horror stories. One girl found out her dad was giving her tips, and she found out
wow.
because as she was getting instructions, she heard on the other end her mother talking on the phone in the background.
Oh man.
And her dad was like, here's $150, play with your kitten.
Oh.
Right? Creepy. Fucked
That's
up.
terrible. That's terrible.
Right? But at the same time, I mean, this is a legitimate career path for a lot of girls. So I don't belong to a man. I'm nobody's property. The most sacred shit about me physically, you can get for $9.99 a month. So that's empowerment. That's the alternative. Why would I want to be married with children and raising a family? I could be an OnlyFans model until the meth addiction takes over.
Well, that's
Like,
because they're rebelling against the whole structure. So that's what you have to do. So it's like if you tell a kid, "Oh, the carrots and the broccoli is what's good for you," that makes them want to eat the cotton candy. This shit's terrible for you. Don't eat it. So when you force them into this idea that your precious flower, save it until marriage, and no one should ever see it but me, then guess what? Guess what? I'm putting it on the internet. Now what?
right.
It's like you feel like you're taking the power from your oppressor, but at the same time, like, what are you doing to yourself? What are the long lasting? But who cares? Because I'm out here in these streets, and I just broke out of my punishment, my oppression, and I'm just gonna do everything. So eventually, they might come to the conclusion that maybe this is not empowerment for me. I mean, it is financially for sure, but what are you really getting? What's the real deal? What are you really getting for you? You're not taking anything from them. If she's freaking shoving things in herself or taking pictures of herself in some kind of way, yeah, you got a picture of it. That mean you own a part of her soul? Did she lose anything really? She may have lost access to some men who, from their point of view, they'd say is too insecure to deal with my past or something like that. Which is a kind of a fair argument, not completely, but kind of a fair argument. So if you meet a woman, you like her, and she says, just to let you know, I've been doing porn for the last 5 years, and I'm in the top 3% of OnlyFans, so everybody's seen my taint. Does that mean you can't take her out for dinner? Does she not deserve respect? Can you not go walk down the boardwalk holding her hand because somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, I know that bitch. I paid her the other day to put a carrot up her ass." And can you deal with that? Should you have to deal with that? Is that something that you should have to process as another human being? So this is all of these things about patriarchal ideas about sex and modesty, and all of this shit comes to the table. There's no easy answers in any of this, and that's just the truth. I think a lot of dudes are pissed off about the status of things. I think a lot of guys who cultivated the things that they were told they were supposed to cultivate, they can check the list off for you, but they're still not getting any, like, what they consider quality women who want to spend time with them. He's like, yo, I'm in good shape. I got a bunch of money. I got a nice car. I did all the things. So shower me with vag. And they're just like, nah, son, you kind of weird, bro. You're not that cool. You're not as cool as you think you are. And as far as a man's brain works, he's like, this is illogical. I have the money. I lifted the weights. I did the fucking push-ups. Why aren't you fucking me? So, as far as that equation goes, it doesn't make any sense to the type of guy who's checking off that list. The world has changed in a way, and you got to feel sorry for him a little bit too, right? Because he's like, no, I pushed the right buttons, but I
He's
didn't
done
get nothing.
everything right.
I did it all.
I have washboard abs. I make 232,000 a year. I'm prudently invested. Your refusal to surrender the vagina is illogical.
Illogical. It makes no sense at all. You said you wanted security, right? Well, I can pay your rent for the rest of your life. So fuck me. And they're just like, you're weird, B.
Right.
And he don't get it. And then some guy walks in, some fuck boy walks in with a full sleeve of arm tattoos, and he's got his hair flipped a certain way. He smokes cigarettes, rides a motorcycle. She's gonna bang him today. Today. Today.
In front of you, if you have access to her OnlyFans.
Right, you can see it if you want. You can pay to watch it. She gonna bang him today. So he's like, hold on. So the equation that they give, which in the man's mind is completely fair and completely logical, but it doesn't work when you're talking about human beings versus inanimate objects. So what they say is, you ask a woman, especially a woman, they'll get this one. If you walk into a Gucci store and you see a purse, it's $500, and that's probably like a cheap one, right? I don't know prices. I'm just saying a random number. Gucci store purse is $500. So she pays $500 for it, and as she's just about to leave, another woman comes in and gets the same purse for $20. She's gonna be like, well, "What the fuck?" Well, the 500 was your price, and the 20 was her price. It's gonna be some shit in that store. Either you getting a refund, or like, nobody's gonna take that and just walk away. They don't understand what the fuck are you talking about. But that's what's happening in the sexual marketplace. They're telling some men, you got to take me on 5 dates, you got to buy my hair and my eyelashes and all this other shit, and other guys, they're just blowing them in the bathroom. So they're like, wait, this is not fair. This is not a fair exchange. How come I have to take you on 5 dates, but this guy gets a VJ today? You just met him. She's like, well, he's got swag. And dudes' brains are melting. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They don't get it. They don't get it. And I don't get it. I mean, hey, look, everybody's different. I heard a person say that every person has somebody that could present themselves to you and make you break all your rules. Like, it's different for men, because a lot of dudes would have sex with anybody on the first date or on the first time meeting them. Under the right circumstances, you out of town or some shit, you meet a fine broad, you're just gonna go bang her. It doesn't take a lot of thinking. But there's one out there that could get you to empty your bank account, right? See, that's the equation that they understand. She can take you right to the ATM or to the and make you give her $1,000 and then drop her off at her boyfriend's house, and you'll do it. You'll do it. There's somebody. She exists in the perfect configuration to completely hypnotize you, and you'll do that shit. Same thing for women. Under normal circumstances, she wants to be courted, she wants to be respected, but there's some dude out there who's gonna be walking with his shirt open. She's gonna see his abs and the little pube trail and shit. She's gonna fuck him today. All the rules go out the window, and that exists on both sides. So it's like you have to understand that this is how the brain works. It's how attraction works. You want to bring in pheromones and all this other kind of shit, whatever. But they only focus on how women do this. They don't focus on how men do the same thing, because men are the ones keeping these women alive. They're the ones buying all the wigs. Men are buying all the wigs, all the eyelashes, all the Brazilian butt lifts. This is simp money that's getting paid in all these transactions.
But I mean, men to a certain degree do the same thing though, because there's women too that are frustrated. It's like, look, I'm a good woman and dude shit on me,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I'm in a room, I'm not getting the same amount of attention,
Yep.
but it's like I would take proper care of your kids. I would have your back. I would show up at the OnlyFans conjugal visit center if you ever get incarcerated and get level 1 access. Like I would hold you down no matter what. And that's just not value to you. What's valuable to you is pussy you haven't had yet. More valuable than your family,
Mm.
more valuable than any honor or commitment to me. Like you would risk it. And so why would men do that? Why would you tell me that you appreciate me, you love me, blah 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 blah, but you just a nut, because at the end of the day, that's it. I love the way you describe it as it's just you're masturbating in a fuck doll.
Yeah, basically.
Like it's not about them. Like it
No.
really is. At the end of the day, it's like, dude, it's your nut. It's your nut. That's really all you're concerned about. You've already admitted that you don't care about this person. So it's like if it's that trivial, like why risk it? So I understand from girls' perspective too when they complain that they can't find decent dudes, or dudes always lie and they just want what they want. And this is the whole thing with any, and there's one thing we've exposed in this mighty work we've taken on, is that all the isms are full of shit.
Yes.
All of the isms. And the sexism is just like the racism shit. You can take Mr. Aquinas and his undeniably eloquent writing. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's an amazing bit of prose. Let's give the man credit.
Absolutely.
You know, when you don't have any time you're wasting on fucking, wow, what brilliant
The
craftsmanship.
shit you could come
could-
up with when you
could
backed
just-
up.
You could just and you know what? You can find a woman that to the T
Mm,
exemplifies everything he wrote down. And you can also find a woman that undermines him at every point and contradicts him. That's why it's so stupid. And that's the thing too, is like a lot of the ism shit is in your head. It's in your head, and whatever you've decided you're gonna find, or whatever it exists, you're gonna find things that reinforce your conclusion. It's enough out there. There's enough people out there. That's why it's just silly to just speak in generalities like that. Like it's just silly to say women are this or men are this. No, and really, and this all comes down to us compartmentalizing so many different things instead of just getting to the core of it. Instead of focusing on all of the things that make us different, what about all the things that are universal? Because all the things that you would say, like this is why men aren't shit, yeah, there's a version of that of why women aren't shit
Yeah.
that the men are saying. And the same thing for the people that are in happy relationships. There's a lot of crossover with men and women. At the end of the day, it just comes down to being honorable, to being honest, to keeping your word, to being thoughtful, not thoughtless, to being committed to growth. Like if you have two people that are engaging in one another and they're looking to help supplement each other's lives and enrich each other's lives, but they've got fucked up characters, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you fuck on the first date or the 50th date, if you come into it with chastity and you've never been kissed, or your OnlyFans has gotten millions of hits. It doesn't matter. Like if you're dealing with people that don't really have any knowledge of themselves or any commitment to anything beyond themselves, you're not going to have a good relationship. And that's what people are looking for, is they're looking like for the recipe. That's why your boy with the six pack and no swag is so confused. Like, I followed the recipe.
Yeah.
Why don't I have it? Or pretty girls, like I'm a bad bitch. All these dudes, I got so many in my DMs, and but why can't I find a man to love me? Like, There's no this is a mystery that's beyond just ones and zeros,
Mm.
and that you can craft the pathway. Like it's it's pretty much the most profound undertaking, probably right on par or underneath like raising a child. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
is something where you're learning about yourself, where you have a mirror constantly held up to yourself, where you're constantly confronted with decisions like, am I going to grow as a person? Am I going to change? Am I going to evolve? Or am I going to fight for my right to hold on to self destructive shit that's going to push away a person that wants to commit themselves to me? You know what I mean? Like, th- when you really put the gravity to it that's supposed to be there, you realize that a lot of the flaws from a lot of these, you know, I guess, people like Fresh and Fit and Cynthia G, or everybody that's just angry on so over the roles of men and women. It's like if you really think about it, like you're not really ascribing to the undertaking the profundity that it should have. Like you're really just seeing it as like I'm gonna watch a movie or get a job that I like. Right? I want to see a movie that I like, I want to get a job that I like, I want to have a car that I like. Like it's that kind of decision. This is just another thing in my life that's gonna make me happy, or I expect to make me happy. And for all of those things, if you got a job that makes you happy, a lot of days you're like, man, fuck this job.
Yeah.
That car, and any car, any toy, any trinket, any stupid ass ridiculous faggoty, not in the insulting towards gays but insulting towards heterosexuals faggoty, Assassin's Creed figurines that you're gonna buy because you're a fucking dummy. Like all of that shit, you're gonna have buyer's remorse at some point. So you basically applying the destiny of another human being. You're applying that same kind of consumer principle to it. Like, what is my product? I want a product. Like, and how much does that product cost? And how do I get it? It's like people aren't products. Like,
Right.
this shit is a lot more involved than that. And it has a lot to do with you. Has a lot more to do with you than the other person. And that's too much for most people. And even that isn't a one side, because you could be a person that's on the path and you're pursuing it, and you could have a person that's they start out that way and then they get caught up in something and
Right.
they abandon, and you got no control over that. And that's where the risk is. That's where you deal with those situations where a dude picked a chick who was righteous up front, but on the back end, 3 kids, paying more child support than his rent, and he is contemplating the shotgun, and it sucks. And you can't just go to that guy and be like, look, man, you didn't pick the right one, you didn't do. Nah, you could. That's the mystery of it, is that you could do everything right and it still not work out, and there's nothing you could do about it.
Right. But that's life in general. But people are
Yes.
taking that to be like it's something that's exclusive to romantic relationships or something like that. That's life in general. You could go to school, get the right degree, all of that, and still not get the job you want, and still end up being a server somewhere instead of the degree that you tried to work on. Not that there's anything wrong with being a server, but that's not what you planned. You had to
Not with a
regroup.
master's. You
Right,
have
yeah,
some resentment.
exactly. Exactly. You got to regroup and land where you land. So that's a possibility always at all times in any equation. It can come out like that. For some reason, which is the emotional reason, the relationship thing is like, nah, fuck that. Nobody's trying to take no losses. They just want to blame the other sex as a complete overarching idea. Men are terrible, women are whores. It's like, hey, it is what it is, buddy. I can't. I'm definitely not going to argue with anybody about it because there's too much evidence for no matter what stance you take in this shit. There's a whole lot of evidence that says you're right. If you says, look, I got my heart broken, and then the next person I met, we got married, and we've been happy ever since. You could say I started off happy, then I got heartbroken. You could say try to bang everything that moves, and you'll be happy forever. You could say be celibate and never have any sex. There's people who've been successful on all those different paths, but none of them are for everybody. And the bottom line
Could it
is the work has to be done. People are not doing the real introspective work to figure it out. I took most of my relationship cues from Al Bundy when I was young.
As you should.
Right? I thought Al Bundy had it all figured out. Yeah, it's a TV show, it's not reality. But when you a kid and you sitting down watching, TV show after TV show where men are completely fed up with their wives, and like, oh, shut up, Edith, I'm gonna smack you in the mouth. Or freaking the honeymooners, bang zoom to the moon and shit, like all of these little seeds get planted.
Did you ever see the original taping before they did the Wang Pao to the moon, Alice?
No.
Who's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, Alice. You never saw that
No,
episode?
that didn't happen.
No, it
No,
didn't.
I was about to say, I was about to YouTube that shit right now. Missing episodes of the Honeymooners. I need to see the Honeymooners pilot right now, bro.
They were like, okay, we did some test audience things, and it just is coming back as a little too harsh. We got to soften up the threats of violence against the woman. So maybe just bang pow to the moon, Alice.
Yeah, bang zoom to the moon. That's a physical threat to your wife.
Oh no, it's assault in any court of law.
And that was his catchphrase. He said it on every episode.
That was.
I'm gonna knock your ass out. You keep playing with me, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth.
This catchphrase. I'm gonna tune you up. I'm gonna tune you up, Alice.
I'm gonna get you right in here if you keep playing with me. And then Al Bundy, dude, as a kid, I was on his side. I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, Peggy. You know what I'm saying? It was a joke, but at the same time, it just plants this seed in your head like this is what marriage is going to be like. In every show, pretty much, there was usually like a little bow that came where they tied up nice at the end. But you talking about what's the one with Tim the Tool Man, Home Improvement?
Home Improvement, yeah.
Home Improvement, the Jeffersons. So Weezy pissed him off every episode. Every episode. Of course, at the end, he hugged her and kissed her on the cheek, but she pissed him off all the time. They never got along. They were always at each other's throats about something. And this is what you think marriage is. Al Bundy's biggest problem with his wife was she wanted to bang all the time.
Yeah, it didn't. I can't. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid, but I had a different experience with it because I was always perplexed. Because I thought Peggy Bundy was hot when I was like, yo. She's sexy, and she's just like, rub my hiney, Al. And he's like, you're a fucking loser shoe salesman that basically Fred Flintstones your car into the garage every day. And your wife is like, yo, I can't wait to get home and rub my fat ass. And you're like, do I have to? I'd rather just cut my balls in front of the TV. So I didn't get it. I never understood where this disdain came from. But I guess, now that I'm older, it's just kind of an archetype of men like just being totally disinterested in their wives.
Right.
And I guess that's a common enough experience that it made sense. But sometimes I wonder too, man, like how much of this is just like Babylonian runoff, like Babylonian byproduct of having too many humans with too many options. I feel like a lot of these shows, I feel like it's all programming to some degree. We know how to interact with each other, or we set expectations for how we're supposed to act or deal with situations because we're all raised on TV and we see how TV characters deal with it. And whether we're conscious of it or not, we internalize it and like, oh, I guess that's how this is supposed to work. Because I think everybody's had those kinds of experiences. But how much problems do you like? Is there? I don't know. I just feel like on a village with 50 to 70 people in the village, I don't think there's a lot of, I just don't think there's a lot of bitch stealing. I don't think there's a lot of, witch burning. I don't know.
Creeping. There might be some creeping. Maybe not, probably not a lot because that's going to be dangerous in close quarters, bro.
I feel like if you have a community that's tight-knit like that, where everybody knows, right, it's harder to get away with shit. There's so many ways because there's so many of us condensed in this. We've built this rat utopia up to unprecedented levels. There's too much anonymity involved where you can kind of be a stranger to so many people. Like, you know what I mean? And we in a lot of ways hold like I remember like a code when I was younger, like if you fucked with one of your homeboy's girls, like you were scum.
Right.
Like you were scum of the scum. Like nobody's making excuses for you. You deserve to get fucked up, depending on how egregious the violation is. It may call for a group fuck up. Like you're fucked up. But at the same time, the same group of people that'll fuck up one dude that violates, the circle of friend code, like bragging about how many chicks that we banged, and they call their boyfriend or call their husband you know, from the bed. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing that they're lying.
Right.
Okay, have a safe trip, honey. And it's like, well, I don't know that dude. So I don't really care about him. Now, for all intents, I mean, you're talking about substantively the same thing. You, we have an understanding that this is a mystery and is complicated, and situations happen, and we wouldn't want anybody to do it to us because like how heart wrenching it can be when the delectable calamity goes wrong. You know what I mean? When it goes wrong, oh, I love this bitch. I love this bitch. Oh, I want to kill this bitch. It can
Yeah.
go from 0 to 60 just that quick. But there's a certain aspect from a communal standpoint of this is a stranger to me, so it's okay. And I feel like it's harder to operate when everybody knows each other, everybody considers each other family. It's harder to make that kind of violation. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
harder to feel okay with that kind of violation. Like, cause that's the shit that really gets people killed. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, it's like, look, this dude, he's a stranger is one thing. And you'll be upset, but at the end of the day, your wife made a commitment to you. The dude never made a commitment to you, like, I promise you, stranger, I'll never fuck your wife. Like, it's your wife's betrayal. He never made that commitment to you. But when it's a person that's like, I've been in your house, I hung out with you, we had dinner together, you loaned me some money, like, that's the shit when it's really like, okay, well, I guess I'm dying, she's dying, you're dying, we all, and those situations have happened. So I wonder how much that we're putting on each other. Men and women are doing it to each other. They're putting it on each other of why the other group has failed to meet on their needs, but not really looking at like, you don't think that there's a common culture that's kind of a culprit? Like these aren't circumstances that are really conducive to people making really good bonds, and there's not really a society that we have to work within that honors those bonds or takes them seriously. I mean, these just aren't ideal conditions in which to cultivate a meaningful and loyal relationship. I think it's way harder under this paradigm than it would be in a smaller community, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a rough thing all the way across the board because the way people tend to deal with each other, especially now, like you said, everything is just laid out. Nobody really gives a shit. You get fractured into larger communities. Everything gets broken apart more. But I think if people were holding each other more accountable in smaller communities and also communicating about the shit that's going to create better relationships overall, because if you're just living in a small community and everybody's on their own shit, there's still, I think, there's less guarantees even then. But if there's some kind of underlined ideology in the community, if it's a real intentional community, like I guarantee you people who live in little gated cul-de-sacs and shit, they get it popping in there. They get it popping in there. People be calling the homeowners association on each other and shit like that. There's no camaraderie. There's no, there might be some allegiances. These two people over here in these two houses, they cool, but they hate everybody else. And if there's nothing,
Yeah.
if there's no common thread that ties it all together, you're still at risk of just living in close proximity to motherfuckers that you hate for no apparent reason too. Like you don't like the shade, the color of his mailbox, so you pissed off. I don't like that guy. He never cuts his grass. Fuck him. Like the smallest, most insignificant shit, and it just bubbles up and stirs up. But this relationship shit is driving people crazy right now. I think it's the choice. I think it's the choices that we have. Look, I think we talked about this before, but there's science is telling you, like if you give a person a choice between A, B, or C, they pick one and they realize that there were two other possible things that they could have had. But I'm happy with I made a good choice. If you give people a choice between 100 different things, you chose one and you missed out on 99 other potential, opportunities or whatever you want to call it. Any of those things could have worked out better or worse for you than the one you chose. But it's a lot different between, do you want this or that, and do you want this person or any of these 5,000 people over here? That's a really difficult choice. It's going to be a lot of regret and remorse, even in the fantasy. The other guy that you think is hot might cheat on you and beat you half to death. But just at the outset, just at the looks, just at swipe right or left, everybody looks even. And then the fantasy kicks in. Maybe this person will take me on more trips. Maybe this person will do everything the way I want them to do it. But that's not usually how that shit works. When you're in long-term relationships, in my opinion, the only way to make that shit work efficiently and effectively is to give each other space to grow and evolve, because nobody's just going to know what's right, whether it comes to how people like to be handled in conversations or arguments, or how people like to be handled even physically, sexually, shit like that. You can't just expect people to get it right or to just know. That's not how the shit works. If you're not willing to communicate and have deep conversations about it, where you can joke a little bit, it might be a little bit of embarrassment, it might get a little cringy and shit. Like, yeah, when you first started hitting it, that shit was corny, but you got better. Like, those kind of conversations need to be able to happen in a safe environment, so that you can get over those humps and figure shit out. But I don't think people want to give each other not even before you even get to the space of having the conversation and trusting each other enough to open up. People don't even want to give you the chance to stumble or trip or not get something right. That's the deal breaker right there. Not how you recover afterwards, or how you repatch things up and change your perspective and go at it again. Like, forget all of that. She just don't know what she's doing. I don't like it, so I'm out. That's
This is what you have. This is what happens when you have a bunch of narcissists trying to get what they want out of each other in a society where there's no real culture other than pop culture.
Yeah.
Like, say what you want about the 50s, right? Where there was like a stigma, like, you got divorced. How could you? You know? Like, and yeah, there was probably, I'm sure, some fucked up circumstances, right? Where there was some legitimate reasons. But as a whole, there's a culture where it was like, look, you shouldn't fuck with other men's wives, or other or other women's husbands. And if you do, that has a negative connotation. Like, you're a home wrecker, don't do they as corny as we may look at some of the shit, like the goofy Leave It to Beaver kind of thing, right? Another incarnation of that, like something like that, is necessary. There has to be some sort of cultural value as a whole that's predominant or prevalent, where there's some sort of incentive, or sticks and carrots to kind of be like, yeah, this is what we need to produce. We need to produce human beings that understand, like, you're taking on the responsibility of another person's destiny, and you're creating a family, and the stability of that family is going to determine your child's destiny.
Right.
Like, hey, it could be, you could do everything right, like you said, and it could still go astray. But chances are, like, if you honor that commitment you made to your wife, you honor that commitment you made to your husband, you're going to be able to form an environment where you're going to produce healthy children that can do the same. But when there's no kind of pressure or societal demand for people to do that, it's just kind of like, yo, just pursue you. Be a consumer that's all about you. And there's no kind of common culture that's deeper than that. I think that's what you get. Like, we're here. Like, this is what it looks like. A whole bunch of people that want way more than what they're willing to put in, that don't really respect any kind of sacred notion about the whole endeavor, and are willing to, abandon ship at the first sign of, like, anything that's, the same way you'd be like, I'm never going to that restaurant again. Like,
Right.
I'm ruining this human being's life. I'm going to take him for everything he has, and I don't care. I'll be on a yacht by Tuesday. I already got my OnlyFans account up. I'm ready. I mean, it's like dude, I saw this. I forget who did the video. I think it was the dude from the quartering. He was talking about this OnlyFans situation where a lady, I guess there's a Twitter account. I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know. But there's a Twitter account that's called like OnlyFans L's or
Mm.
something, like the L's of OnlyFans or something. And this lady had a picture of her husband, right? And they're hugging. She's like, I can't believe it. My husband killed himself. This is so fucked up. Please make sure if someone is suicidal or whatever, you get them the help they need. Like it was this kind of heart wrenching, like, my husband killed himself. This is so fucked up. And then like a few posts further down was like, this was this was the last video I made before my husband died. It's me masturbating on the couch in a yellow dress. Love you. Let me know what you think. I was like,
Wow.
I was like, so we went from here to here, and the first thing that came up in my head was like, okay, your husband killed himself, you have an OnlyFans, and you don't see the correlation. You don't think like,
Mm.
yeah, maybe he was mentally unstable, but it's like my wife, who I love, who I adore, that I would lay down my life for, is basically like, all y'all can get this pussy. Everybody gonna see this pussy. So either like you're profoundly broken that you can't provide for your family, right? And your wife is doing this, and you haven't come to terms. Like I don't know. I don't know what their situation was, but I mean that's all speculative. The facts are you made like that segue was masterfully tone deaf. Like I'm sad about my dead husband that just murdered himself. This was the last video I made before he killed himself. It's me masturbating on the couch in a yellow dress.
Just completely detached. Like she don't give a solitary fuck, bro.
Back to work. Buried
I've,
the husband. Get back on the pussy assembly line. We got work to do.
I'm pretty sure I know why he killed himself. He
Yeah,
probably
that's
walked in on those sessions too many times. He walks in and she's got the 4 foot long vibrator with the softball head on the top of it, and she's just buzzing herself into oblivion. And he's like,
mommy's
"Fuck
working.
me, bro. God damn it, shit, dude, that's hardcore." But I mean, we gotta keep it real too. So we gotta keep it real just about science. So, and I know it seems like some oppressive patriarchal kind of. I know what it sounds like, and I'm not gonna deny that even looking into this direction could have been some. It could have been guided by some dudes trying to rationalize something that was already going on in their head. But the truth of the matter is, promiscuity reduces pair bonding ability. That's just the truth. I mean, it makes sense scientifically, like the concept of it makes sense. I don't have to test brain chemicals and hormones for 20 years to figure this out. I've seen in my own life people who go down certain roads, and this is what happens. The more people that you have sex with, the harder it becomes for you to actually bond with people who you're having sex with. That's why they say you never forget your first and all that kind of shit, because the chemicals are strongest and your body becomes the most addicted to those chemicals at the beginning. But the more you pass it out, it's just going to go away. That
Yeah,
high is going to go away. Now
you're
this
chasing the dick dragon,
tasting the cock dragon, and or the box dragon,
the
one or the
flower
other.
dragon.
The
Yeah.
flower dragon. That sounds so much better, right? But but at the same time, this also goes for masturbation, because you're
Yeah.
circumventing the skills you would build for human interaction and communication and signals and all of that shit for just shortcut straight to the bus. So you're definitely rewiring your brain. Your brain is changing form and function while you're doing this shit. So when you decide to get off OnlyFans or Pornhub for 5 minutes, and you and your homies go to the bar, there's a reason that you can't read women's signals. There could have been somebody there who was interested in you, but you didn't pick up on it because you're desensitized. You're looking for the look in the eye the woman has when the pizza delivery guy comes, or the plumber. That's what you're looking for. This insatiable vixen, and she's already writhing As soon as you look at her, she's already twerking and fucking twisting her hips around. She's talking all breathy with the vocal fry. That's not real, buddy. That's not real. So you could imagine how many signals you missed because you were looking for this extreme representation of interest or some type of sexual chemistry. Now with women, this goes the opposite way because women can always get sex. It's not a they don't have to read signals. All they have to do is make themselves available and they'll get the sex. But the difference is a lot of them for some reason see the sex or at this point even the interest of sex as a victory. It's like, oh yeah, he banged me, so like so what does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. You don't get any points for that. It's not like something that's super difficult. You're always going to be able to find people to smash, but how many people are you going to find that actually want to talk to you, 8 seconds after the ejaculate is finished exiting their body? 10 seconds later, he's like, all right, so I guess I'm going to get out of here. So the more you do that, the harder it's going to be. And if you have no intention of creating any long-term relationships, if that's where you stand right now, that's fine. But just understand, if you ever change your mind, it's going to be 10 times more difficult to walk that back. You're not going to be able to just shake it off and say, you know what, I'm going to just go out here and give a guy a chance. No, that's not how it works. And the same thing with men. If you paying women and you bouncing up and down on all these Brazilian butt lifts and shit, what are you gonna do when you meet a decent woman? Not that no decent women have, but fuck that, they don't. So what are you gonna do when you meet a decent woman who's just chill and wants to have a conversation? You're gonna see her as inadequate because she doesn't have extreme body dimensions, or because she doesn't carry herself like a stripper. Strippers and hookers and sex workers, they got a whole different set of tools than the average woman. Now, any woman can be a siren. Any woman can be a seductress. I think even the ones who self-identify as shy or have social anxiety or may not be considered traditionally attractive, under the right circumstances, with the right I don't want coaxing is the wrong word. That's the rape culture, but with the right relationship, the right communication, the right trust factor, the right atmosphere, all that shit can go out the window. She can throw you on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like that can happen with almost any woman, but it has to just be kind of nurtured and the trust has to be there. The sex workers have thrown that shit in the garbage. Like that's just their default position because they know that's what shakes the money out of your pockets. So they're gonna walk right up to you and sit on your lap and put their finger in your ear or some shit like that, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, she loves me." Nah, buddy. No, buddy. She's getting that wallet lubricated. That's what she's doing. She's making your wallet moist.
You know what? We're so broken because it's like we've already dehumanized each other in our heads before we even start to engage with one
Yeah,
another.
facts.
Like it's just meal tickets and fuck dolls,
Mm.
and they're trying to intermingle and find love somewhere in between. But it's like, nah, you're already like you fantasizing about, you know what I'm saying, extorting sex for rent, giving out the good grade professor. Like, yeah, all of that shit fucks with your mind, right? And like you said, you're not picking up on signals, you're not picking up on looks, because you're waiting for the guitar to kick in.
Yeah. Brown
You're
chicken.
waiting for
Wow,
the wah wah
wow.
bar, right? You're waiting for that wah wah bar to get pulled, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't, like, you're not looking for a person. There's no person in that equation.
Right.
Like, person has nothing to do with it. Like, this is all about your nut, and you need a person to be involved. And it's the same way, what men do with sex, women are doing on the same. Like, hey, I'm valuable because this dude with a yacht wants to fuck me.
Right.
He's willing to pay me money and fuck me. It's like, yeah, but you see that no one's a human in that, right? Like, this isn't a person to you. Like, you don't care about this dude's feelings. You don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, you like his resources and you like the experience he can provide you. And and you could say, and I guess feminists debate about that, like, is she empowered or is she dehumanizing herself? I guess that's all to be defined by the participants. but at least on her part, is she's there's definitely not a person on the other end that she's visiting. It's a meal ticket. So this is a culture of meal tickets and fuck dolls, and the meal tickets and the fuck dolls complain about each other, but really neither one of them are looking for other human beings. Both of them are denying the humanity of the other side and complaining about them as if they all personify the worst traits possible. But really, it's like you're all kind of engineering that into each other. Like like the more that you're just out for pussy, like aren't you kind of reinforcing this the women's notion that sex is all they really have to offer and all you're really interested in? Like, what is she doing wrong? Like she's the dude with the abs who graduated college and makes six figures. Like
Right.
I'm here and I'm hot, so this is what you guys want, right?
Right.
Will somebody
And they're
rub my
going for it.
feet
And they're
and
going for it.
express concern about my well-being?
Nope. And like that's the question, right? Is that what you really want? Do you really just want a drone who checks the boxes? Like, don't you think? Well, does would the food taste better if she enjoys cooking for you, or she just has to do it because you pay for everything and she has no other choice? I
Yeah,
feel
this
like
is all. This is all the soft rape of fuck dolls and meal tickets. It's all this is. It's
Yeah.
everyone is engaged in soft rape.
That's
Cook my
exactly
meal
what it
because
is.
you have to, and you've got no options.
Right, right. And she's like, pay my bills because I have a vagina.
Right?
So
You
they,
fucking
yeah.
loser. You're not a high quality man. You're not a high value. Did you see the high value man march?
No. There's a high value man
I
march.
I promise you, there was a march, or they were walking to. There was a video circulating online about Kevin Samuel's funeral, and it's like, watch this march of dignified, high value men, and it was just like 100 dudes dressed like Kevin Samuels. It's like we're high value,
The
we're high
Million
value
High
men.
Value Man March. Oh my God, bro.
I don't know what it is, but it was on YouTube. But in any event, so these are but yes, the same thing. Like, hey, you gotta be a sexy bitch. You gotta be a high value man. It's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you realize that you check off all these boxes, but if neither one of you are happy or nobody's getting your needs met, like at some point, you just have to admit that the shit is not working. Like it's way more involved and complicated than just this set of boxes. Like everybody is on some like super shallow, selfish, narcissistic shit, and the culture feeds on it, exploits it, and profits from it rather than corrects it. Anything that's instituted to correct it is corny. Ah, that's corny as fuck. You saying, wait a minute, wait. You saying it's harder to pair bond if I'm not getting as much ass as possible? You saying it's going to be harder for me to find a man if I've got 10 million hits on OnlyFans? Like that's corny. This sounds like religion. This
Right.
sounds like some tradition. This sounds like this is some killjoy shit. It's like, okay, then then I don't know. Put on the Babylon costumes and get to the fucking soft rape of fuck dolls and meal tickets and get what you get. Like this is there like you got to acknowledge at some point that there's destined outcomes for this approach. Like if this many people are unhappy, if this many people are not connecting, if this many people aren't getting married, aren't having children, aren't building families, then what are we even talking about for dating? Like what is even the purpose of dating at this point? Are we looking for people even at this point that we want to build lives with? I think at the end of the day, if a lot of these people are honest with themselves, like what you're really talking about is you're into this shit. Like when you say that you're looking for somebody, like you're just looking for the next person to go to.
Right.
You're not looking for anything. Nobody's looking for anything deeper than that. If you were really looking for anything deeper than that, you would reevaluate your whole value system and your approach.
It seems like they
Like,
would, especially the dudes seem to be the ones who are sensing the issue more. I think a lot of women are just having fun. They don't understand, like, the whole idea of sexual marketplace value. Like a lot of these guys just it's a cutoff for them. Like psychologically, they're like, yo, once you're 35, you might as well just die. Like you're worthless as a woman. After, just jump off a cliff. If you're over 40, just jump off a cliff. Nobody wants you. Nobody's gonna be attracted to you. Like we'll still smash you, but nobody's ever gonna take you seriously. And the dudes, I feel like they understand that it's a problem because they aren't being. They see themselves as the best option for a lot of women, but the women don't agree. So the dudes, instead of seeing just a problem on the table, the problem that they've identified is women don't know how to choose men because they're not choosing me. And I just saw the video of those guys walking around. And all of them dudes look like people who would say exactly like we were talking about earlier. Women be like, "Nah, I don't think I want to have sex with you." And he'd be like, "I got 11 suits." Fuck are you talking about? I got 11 suits. What do you mean you don't want to have sex with me?
Immaculately dressed. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
impressive. I don't own a suit that nice.
No, I don't either, and I give them all kinds of props, but they look like a pack of arrogant bitches to me. I mean, I'm just saying, like they just strutting around in their suits. Like you do understand that I get enclothed cognition. You know, you dress yourself a certain way and you feel a certain way about yourself. I totally get it, but you do understand that this says nothing about whether or not you're a good mate. It says nothing about your character. It says nothing about your integrity. A suit is something that anybody can buy. Criminals wear suits, especially like high tier criminals. Pookie and Ray
Yes.
Ray gangbangers might be running around with their pants sagging, but the people who fuck the world wear suits.
Yeah.
So I mean, what is it that you're saying? You think you're in league with good people because of the fabric, the cut of your fabric? It means nothing, bro. Jack the Ripper probably wore a suit. That shit don't mean nothing. Other than if you want to dress professionally, you want to put out a certain vibe to the people who hire you, business, all that good shit. If you see a suit as the top tier representation of manhood and wealth and all of that, then you put that suit on for the enclosed cognition that is going to radiate and make you feel like you worth something. But just intrinsically, objectively, it means nothing. So that's what you doubling down on. Same thing with all these motherfucking colognes and shit, y'all. You know that's the same as women buying eyelashes, right? It's the same thing. I was watching Kevin Samuels videos, bro. He was like, and this is the thing with this guy. Like, it's true as he was. Like, he said a lot of real shit. I think the women who volunteered to call him and ask him why they can't find a man who makes a million, like, you already fucked up. If you're like, why can't I find a man who makes this amount of money? Like, you've already dropped the ball. You fucked the whole game, because I don't remember, out of all the clips I've seen, I don't think any woman has ever mentioned any real long-term relationship traits, things that would make a relationship effective and efficient. No, they never mention that. They talk about the height, they talk about how the person has to look, and they talk about how much money the person has to make. Nothing
Called
about,
delusions of grandeur.
yeah, nothing about character, nothing about any of that. Very few women will say something like, "I want somebody who's caring." Like, nah, they're just like, "I want somebody." You got to be able to make you got to be able to take care of this, and that. You got to be able to provide. And it's like, okay, I get it. Security, bills got to get paid. That's real shit.
They
But the
they want moisture makers.
right,
It's like boner Wi-Fi for women.
but the way he
That's it.
talked about certain shit, like when you see him break character and get down into the nitty gritty. Like I saw one video where he was talking about like colognes and face washes and shit. He's like, you got to do your skincare regimen, fellas. Like, let me show you how to knock a bitch. This how you knock a bitch. And he starts pulling out his colognes and shit. And I'm like, is this really? Do you really think this is the best way you can present quote unquote self improvement information to men? Is let me show you how to knock a bitch? Like you fucking up from the outset. You can't go out in the world thinking I'm gonna knock a bitch, and at the same time, why can't I meet a marriageable woman? Because you out here trying to knock a bitch. You can't do those two things at the same time. It don't work like that, B. I'm sorry. If you
It's
don't have
all
respect for the person that you out prowling, if you don't have no respect, you gonna get what you get. That's the bait that you putting on the hook. Lack of respect and carnal lust. That's the bait you're putting on the hook. What do you think you're gonna catch?
it's a scam on both sides. That's all it is. It's a bunch of incels trying to get pussy, And so you have these guys who've never gotten pussy before, and so their advice is dress nice, wear cologne. When the only true advice is to be yourself, as far as when it comes
Facts.
to a man. And
Facts.
then when it comes to women, depending on the situation the women had growing up. So if they had a mother and father, they should have a vision of what a husband should be if the father was a good father and if the mother was a good father. But the problem is a lot of these women have delusions of grandeur. So they want like this prince and they want this king. They want all these like high. I'm not gonna say high value men because I think it's stupid as fuck. But they want like a man who's like in high position, and it's only truthfully women who are like who pretty much are pretty, because it's not like ugly women or fat chicks, because those type of women they don't care what they get as long as they get it.
Shit.
In a sense, in a sense, in a
Shit.
sense,
There's a
in a
300
sense.
pound woman on TikTok right now that says if you under 5'6", don't even talk to me. Like they
Well,
got just as many
that's but
entitlements as
that
everybody else.
Don't
she
slide into
falls
her DMs.
she falls in the delusion of grandeur. That's what I'm saying. So like there's women who fall in that delusion of grandeur who really like just delusional. Like you really gonna look yourself in the mirror and then you expect a man like you weigh 300 pounds and then you expect a man who weighs 150 to really look at you and tell himself, I'm not gonna cheat on you at all.
But everybody's delusional though. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw one where he talked to the dude. He's like, "So let me get this straight. You got a little dick, you a fat fuck, and you make 20 grand a year, but you want a bad bitch."
No,
Like,
he want a stable of bad bitches. I want a poly relationship. I need 4 women to live in the house and all take turns worshiping my rod. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's see how that works out for you, pal.
It's all bad
Yeah,
advice for everybody.
delusions.
It's
Like
all it's all
I hear
bad
him say
advice.
some real shit. I think when he talks to some of them women and he's telling them, like, especially when he talks about the concept of average, because he'll ask women like, "Would you date an electrician?" And they'll be like, "Hell no." Like, first of all, maybe you don't know how much electricians make, but just the fact that you hear this type of job and that's not prestigious enough for you, even though you could probably live a very good life on an electrician's salary or electrician's pay, but just the idea of a person who does that kind of work is not something that you would accept in a mate. That is definitely some powerful shit information to give to people. And it's also the same thing with men. The woman who's the best woman for you may not have the ass to waist ratio that you think you like. She may not look like a video vixen, but she could be a dope wife to you, raise your kids, and just be awesome to you, be a good partner. But you like, nah, son, her ass ain't crazy fat, her waist ain't super tiny. It's goofy shit. It's goofy shit. Just like they love the cheerleaders, the sex workers, but they don't love the personalities and the spirit of the person that it takes to be those people. They don't want that. They want the spirit of a virgin, but the body of a whore and the
Yeah,
activities of a whore. You want her to have all that. Why would you?
yeah.
If you want a woman that's going to be home and take care of your house and fold your clothes and do all this arbitrary shit that you should be doing for yourself, if you want her to do all of that, why would you pick a person who looks like a sex doll? There's a reason she looks like a sex doll. She's trying to make herself more marketable. She's trying to sell pussy easier. Like, let's keep it real. That's the only way to do that. That's the only reason to do that. Because that's not a woman that men gonna take seriously. Your eyelashes look like a butterfly on your face. Your butt and your boobs don't even look human at this point. You're all bulbous and weird looking. But that's for people who are drunk and gonna spend some money to
I
to
couldn't be a
to
relationship
hump and
advice
sweat
person,
on
bro.
top of you in a hotel room in an all-star weekend. That's what that body's for. That's not the body that you're gonna take a walk on the beach with and hold her hand. And that's not who those women are, bro. You don't do all that work
Listen,
to yourself to build a genuine relationship. You do that work to yourself so you can hit somebody's pockets.
listen. If you doubt what the guru is saying, go look up Kanye West
Mm.
closed on Sunday or Chick-fil-A, whatever the fuck he called that song. Dude, it was it's so hard because it's the first time you see like Kanye and what I want to say the first time because I don't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians or any of that shit. But it's the only time I've seen them like looking like a regular ass family.
Right, right,
You
right.
know what I mean? It wasn't some glamorous shit. It's like, yo, I'm just here with my wife and kids. And I get what he was going for. So he created that walk on the beach, but it was with the video vixen, and she looks ridiculous.
Right.
If you did just, if you just, I couldn't. It took me out. I'm like, I see the point that you're trying to make, dude, but your wife looks ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is goofy. I can't get the. I see the point you're trying to make, but the imagery here just doesn't like she's just in sweatpants and it looks, it just looks ridiculous. So yeah, you kind of configured your body to be a stripper or a sex doll, but at the end of the day, like you really just want to be a regular chick and have a family and be loved, and the idea that this is the price of admission, like nobody's gonna want you unless you look like this. I mean, because I do kind of empathize with girls because it there is something by nature, like you're the flower, have pretty colors, smell good, so bees fly up, like your job kind of, yeah, you should develop those skills if you were raised right, if your parents loved you and they instilled character in you. Yeah, there's all these other kinds of things that would make you attractive to a wise man, but most people aren't wise.
Right.
Most men, especially when it comes to issues of pussy, are the furthest thing from wise. And women are vying for attention, and it's like, how do I get noticed? How do I get noticed? Like, I gotta be an attractive flower, and whatever the standards of the beauty, well, I guess a lot of these girls seem to get a lot of attention, So again, I just feel like it's all Babylonian programming. It's all like, um these are all like cultural priests, people on television, celebrities, musicians, whatever. These are people that are propped up to the grand tribe, where the mouse utopia, way too many people, and because there's no sense of community, because there's no real camaraderie, because there's no real kind of village developing and holding people accountable, it's just this massive sea of strangers. And it's like, well, how do I look attractive to this massive sea of strangers? Like, well, I don't know. What do the cultural priests tell me that I need? Well, I gotta look ridiculous. So if this is what I gotta do, I'm gonna buy that $400 plane ticket to Colombia. I'm gonna get some concrete shot up in my ass by an unlicensed, non-English speaking doctor,
You
and
deserve.
I'm
You
gonna
deserve.
take I'm gonna take so I don't want to bash women who are caught up in it. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. I empathize with women because it is the place that they have, or the way. It's just tough. It's just tough because a lot of us are shallow pieces of shit.
Yeah.
We just are. We don't we don't value a lot of the character things as much as women do. Like I just see a lot more women that are with good dudes that may not have money, may not have looks, you know, but they're good. They're just good dudes. And it's just a lot harder for girls. Like, I'm gonna be a decent person and a man's gonna love me. That's tough. That's tough. You
Yeah.
might have to get a blind dude.
Right.
Like,
But
you
it's
just
all
might
about
have to do it.
it's all about patience though. Like that's what's not being told. Like
But how can
motherfuckers.
you be patient? You got a biological clock.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, you're gonna hit the
you need
wall at 30 and you're
that
fucked
biological
forever.
clock. That biological clock is bullshit. Because when it's a woman who has a career and she's focused on that career, they're known to ignore that biological clock. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Like especially with the men. Like I have a problem with both sides, especially like the men's sides, because it's like it's a bunch of incels complaining, and then at the same time, it's a bunch of incels giving men advice, which should not be the way at all. It shouldn't be the way at all, because like you're giving advice to men about cologne and clothes and all that. It's one thing to smell nice and look good, but like if this is what you have to attract women, then like that's not all that you need. First of all, you need to be intelligent. You have to hold a conversation. Stop being a weirdo. Pornos did not help you. Like erase everything you learned about pornos because it ruins your thoughts of women.
Facts.
Like that's I don't know, man. Like it's just I don't agree with none of it. I think it's all stupid.
Look,
Alpha male, alpha female, king and queen. I think it's all stupidity. Like in my
We got
personal,
duality. We both got duality to deal with. I think the women's duality is understanding that her real strength is in not trying to aggressively assert herself, right? And also not taking advantage of the power that she has. That's what we both have to deal with because a woman can manipulate really easy. She can make you think you're the one and just drip you dry, and there's nothing you could do. She could have 10 guys on the hook at the same time, all thinking that they're gonna get it.
yeah, and
Right.
there's women exactly, and women like that I have no sympathy for, because there's women, because I've been with a few women where like, oh you're like the third guy or you're the fourth guy, and you won the battle, and in my head I'm like, bitch, why is there a race and you over here looking for love? Like you deserve everything coming at you.
Right.
I'm supposed to cheat on you.
And on the
I
other
have
side,
30 baby mothers on the side and everything because you had 10 niggas on the side. Then whatever you're looking for is not gonna happen.
and on the other side, men's duality is knowing that your physical power, shit like that, you can't be out here gorilla pimping, being a fucking rapist, and also you have to understand that the real way that you're gonna connect with a woman is not gonna necessarily be by these tangible physical things. Like it always helps to be able to do those things, but that's not what's gonna create the real connection because anybody can do that. Anybody can check those boxes. Anybody can buy flowers. Anybody can do that. So it doesn't really matter. You're gonna have to dig deeper and present some shit that you may not see as super masculine, some shit that may make you feel vulnerable, all of that kind of thing. And you're gonna have to contend with that because your brain is gonna be telling you you're setting yourself up for failure. But that vulnerability is the only way you're really gonna get to know and link with somebody on a long-term basis to make it make sense. If you always playing calculated games and it's like, oh well, it's Friday, I gotta buy flowers, I have to keep this cologne on so she'll like me, I gotta pay this bill so she'll give me the sex, you're gonna fail. You're absolutely gonna fail. The things that are gonna scare you, telling her intimate shit, listening, like really actively listening to her rather than just trying to figure out which ways you can run game, that's the shit that you want to avoid, usually as a male, because you've already grown up with some patriarchal tough guy shit like, oh, women just be talking, they ain't saying shit. Like, well, if you really carrying that into your relationships, like, oh, she talks too much, well, guess what, B? You're gonna screw yourself, guaranteed.
Just be yourself.
That's
be
it.
yourself. Don't
That's
be
it.
anything
not
else.
unless you suck.
Right. And
Well,
if you
yeah.
suck,
If
get
you're
better.
some
Suck, you
weirdo
shouldn't-
dude and you suck, you should not. You should change some things about yourself. You're some weirdo motherfucker who
It's-
has like weird thoughts and processes of thinking. Yes, you need to change the way you operate. You definitely need to advise some other men. You definitely need to watch a couple of videos of how to operate because you can't be like some weirdo nigga and then expect some female to act a certain way.
Look,
You need a female
that's
friend.
negative.
You need a
That's
female
negative.
friend.
A lot of
That doesn't mean you need
lot
to
of-
be in the friend zone. Don't ever be in the friend zone. That, like we said before, that doesn't exist. You're a predator waiting for an opportunity. You don't ever be in the friend zone. Just you need to find a female that you can build with, politic with, on some shit where you're just not trying to wait for a chance to have sex with her. If you can't talk to, like in an intimate way, talk to a woman who's just seeing you as a person she can vent to or a person she can have a good conversation with. If that doesn't happen anywhere in your life, you're probably gonna suck at relationships with women
Yeah.
because you
Pussy's
don't know
the
how to
bonus.
do it. Yeah, that's
Pussy's
the bonus.
bro.
Right.
It's like marijuana, bro. Like the bonus of marijuana is the high part. You know what I'm saying? So like that, all the other stuff about like getting to know a woman, the pussy should not be the priority of it.
And I get it. It's gonna be high at the top of the list. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that. But it's like this is something that you're gonna have to deal with your whole life. Like on a larger scale, humans, but definitely as men, something you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life is just a constant irrational fucking sexual arousal just about like that's just part of it. So sooner or later you got to get over it and stop acting like a fucking panting dog and just have a decent conversation. Stop trying to bang everything that moves. That's going to be more valuable to you than being in constant predator mode trying to smash everybody because they can see you coming a mile away. They can see you coming a mile away. It's like the freaking red rocket on a puppy, bro. You're just running around like, hey, you ready? You ready? You want to give me some? Hey, you want to give me some? That's goofball shit, bro. You got to chill out.
Yeah.
But that's what they see. That's their conquest. That's what they're being told by either the internet or dudes that's around. That's what they're being told. That's how you're supposed to be. So make that make sense. As a young virile male, right? You're in good shape. You're doing all the shit you're supposed to do. You got a little bit of bread. Do all this shit. You want all the box. You want it all. Keep it real. You want all the box. But you have a psychological idea that the requirement of what makes her a good woman is that she's not giving everybody the box. But all y'all want all the box though. So how is it that you want all the box, but your ideal woman doesn't give out any box?
Yep.
That's a recipe for disaster. That's an absolute recipe for disaster. You're gonna have cognitive dissonance forever. Forever. Because technically, even if you do just come across the way she likes, you dress the way she likes, and you absolutely earn it, what happens after you earn it? Does she lose points for giving it to you? She has to, because promiscuous women are sluts, right? They're not worth it. How long does she make you wait before you're convinced that she's worth it? Oh no, you can't wait. I don't wait for nothing. If she makes you wait for sex, get rid of her. What the fuck? How do you hold both these things in your head at the same time? Don't wait for sex, but if she gives it up right away, she's a piece of shit. If she makes you wait too long, she's also a piece of shit. Failure.
That's cornball incel conversation.
Yeah,
bro.
forever failure. That's forever failure.
Cornball shit.
But
Well,
they
if
win
they-
it. But they at the same time they win it because they paying for most of the sex that they get. So there's still
Right.
women who are out there that's willing to give it up for a certain amount of money. So he's still getting it off. So technically, as long as he's getting some
But
kind
you
of
should
access,
stay single. But you should stay single. Stop saying you're looking for love. Stop saying you're looking for a woman to clean after yourself.
Right.
Either that or go fuck your mom. So like there shouldn't be.
I
There
don't know.
shouldn't.
I don't know if
there
that's a
shouldn't be-
viable solution.
Yeah, that's not
It
good
is a
advice.
solution. It is a solution. Because if
not
you're
good
looking,
advice.
listen. If you're looking for a woman to cook, clean, and do all these things for you, go fuck your mom. All right, go fuck your mom. That's doobie advice. Because at the end of the day, if you just want to fuck a bunch of pussy, just be honest with yourself. Say, I want to fuck some pussy every day until I'm tired of it. I'm not looking for a relationship. I did it. I was single. Like I was single till I was up till 28 years old. And every girl that came at me was like, "Yo, I like you." Da 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 da. I'm like, listen, I'm 20 something years old. I'm not trying to be held down to nobody. I'm trying to look around, have a good time. You want to have fun? We can have fun. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I never even told women I loved them. I never even I hated that concept. Oh, I love you, baby. All right, let's go have sex. I never did that shit. Never in my life. It was either
gorilla pimping, bro.
bro. I was straight up like, cause there's no point of lying. If there's women out there, right, who will fuck you and you have a whole wife and kids, and keep it a secret, then what's the point of me lying to women?
Facts, yeah. Truth is always the best. I say that all the time. Even if you think you want multiple women, all of that, you should be man enough to just tell her that right up front. You're gonna lose some opportunities. There's some women who are gonna say, "Nah, I ain't with it," but that should be their choice. You should have enough respect for yourself and for them to let them make a real decision. Because just like she might have something going on with her that you don't want nothing to do with. She could come see you. You would feel violated if a chick came to see you and then y'all did a bunch of sexual shit and she gets there, she's like, all right, I gotta go because I just had a gangbang earlier today and I got another one tomorrow, so I gotta leave. And you'd be like, what the fuck? Why you didn't tell me that? So it's the same thing. If you feel like you got these parameters that you want to live out, you should be man enough to just say that and deal with the women who down with it. Always
That's
tell
it,
the
man.
truth. Always,
Keep it-
always. If you run a
keep it
game, you
moving.
a sucker. That's 100%. If you run in game, if you got like a set of things that you do to trick them into, and you're not telling them who you really are, you ain't telling them I got 30, 40 chicks I'm chasing on Instagram right now. If you ain't divulging that information, you're a sucker.
Soft rape.
It is, exactly, and you're engaging in soft rape. Let's just keep it real. Not that it should be, punishable judicially or nothing like that, but that's soft
No,
rape.
but you should be publicly shamed.
Oh yeah,
Men and women. If you're procuring dick, pussy, or services under false pretenses,
Yeah, that's
You should
sucker
be
shit.
you should be shamed with soft rape. Absolutely.
Yeah, complete sucker shit. Because the real deal is saying what exactly what it is, keeping it all the way real, and leaving it up to them to make the decision. Some of them gonna be like, you know what, I respect that. I'll hang around for a while. I'll chill, see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But nah,
Listen,
they trying to trick.
I've had plenty of friends with benefits. Never had a situation where a girl blew my car up, busted windows, scratched it up. Never. If she felt like she was having feelings, I'd be like, look, this is not for me, and I keep it moving. And I've never had any type of crazy situations. Like it's there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, that's a perfect scenario. Because for the people who it works for them, go for it. Because I'm not the person who's gonna say that monogamy is the best situation or something like that. I wouldn't say that because I don't know how other people's minds work. I do know I did see a documentary a long time ago about hippie compounds, and these people were doing a bunch of drugs together. They had a whole lot of tents and mini houses and shit, and they was all mixing and matching. They was mixing and matching for years, and everybody was happy. They do the shrooms. Your wife stay at my house for a couple, or your girl stay at my house for a couple of days. My girl stay at your house, and everybody was happy. But eventually, over time, those communities started to section themselves off and become monogamous of their own avail.
And then the syphilis outbreaks.
Right? It just decimates the whole community. But they
There's
figured it
African
out.
tribes that move like that, where everybody shares everybody. It's only the responsibility of the person who has the child.
And then, like I said, the point what that is that eventually that shit was unsustainable for them. Left alone, away from outside judgment, it wasn't like the neighbors was talking. They was living on a hippie compound, and over time, people just started to be like, you know what? I think I want to keep this one for myself. I don't want to share anymore, and that's fine. They came to those conclusions. They did what they did, and it evolved in a way that it was natural. They moved through, and they ended up being in a monogamous. They started the whole shit off as some rebellious sex cult type shit,
Yeah.
and they still ended up in monogamous relationships. So what does that tell you?
People are full of shit.
No, it tells you it tells you that eventually the sex and all that shit is fun, and a lot of us have been attracted to it because it's so suppressed in society. People shame you and everything else, but they had a community where they let it flourish naturally, and people still gravitated towards each other. And everybody's history was out in the open. There was no sneaky shit. There was no, oh, you used to bang this guy. Everybody knows what everybody was doing. That's why they didn't have to worry about it when it came time to start pairing up. Now, if you take that outside into the real world, now you got other people to contend with, and people to tell you, oh, didn't she used to be with him? Why is she with you now? And all these other ideas and pressure that comes in from the outside that creates miscommunication and turbulence and all that. But within their own community, they figured it out. It made perfect sense to me because I get it. I don't have to go through the process of lending my woman out to other people before I realize I want to keep her for myself. I don't have to be convinced. It's not a struggle for me to. I'm not making any sacrifices by not pursuing sex with other women. I'm really not. I'm saving myself all kinds of headaches and stresses and shit like that. There's no way in the world you couldn't pay me if I had to switch up my lifestyle. I'd be doing what Doobie's doing. I'd just be buying it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. But I don't buy it every 2 weeks. But I hear you.
Not every 2 weeks, they're saying. Once a month maybe, but
I had to slow that shit down. That shit is horrible, bro. The filter game is ridiculous.
oh shit.
But
They be catfishing. They be catfishing. They be showing
oh
up
my,
like, bitch, who
oh
is
my,
you?
oh my god, it's ridiculous, bro. It's bad. It's I don't know, man. Like it's just a crazy world as far as like all the catfishing, and then it's just like the people that they meet. They must meet a lot of weirdos because the reaction that they expect out of me is like, why are you so quiet? Or why aren't you talking? It's like, bitch, I'm just here to catch a nut and go on to the next day. I don't want to get to know you. I don't have nothing to talk about. Like this is not a commune to meet and greet. I'm just here to catch a nut, keep it moving because I have like needs, and I don't feel like going on a date and asking you what your future is and then waiting a month to finally get the pussy. Like I just want to get this urge out of me and then focus back to school. And that's just it's just
He's all
It's what it
business.
is. It's exactly. It's
It's
just it's
all
a business
business.
deal.
He
I
needs a
look.
man fridge.
Yeah.
Get that man a man machine.
He needs a man machine, bro. If you like, okay, let me ask you this: if you had like something that looked like a mini fridge where you could keep beers in and shit, if you had something like that that was programmed to give excellent BJ's, would you use it?
If it's like a walking female, sure. Like
No,
I
no,
can't
no, no.
just.
It's a box with a hole in it.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
like a
saying.
dishwasher.
I
It's like
can't.
a little dishwasher with
I
a hole in
can't.
the front.
I can't do the mystery hole.
Nah, 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 nah. Look,
It's-
look, look. Okay,
you
it's
gotta
got
fuck with me.
it's got the it's an X-Men arcade game cabinet with the 6 controllers, right? It's got a panel. It's got a panel on the side that opens up. It's complete with a fridge. The other side has a thing where you put in your dishes. It's a dishwasher. It's just this huge machine. But you remove a little slit and there's a hole in it, and it's like a sleeve and it's got custom settings, and it reproduces the head game of over 5,000 celebrities,
Right.
and you can download them like ringtones.
Yep.
I
So
need a I need
you
a
could
fat booty shaking in front of me and
It's got a
flipping
screen on it. It's got a screen
Right.
on it. You
the
put on
X-Men
whatever you want.
screen, right, flashes out, and then all of a sudden something else pops up.
There's nothing like the human touch.
It,
Oh,
it,
see,
it,
you saw, see, there it is, right there. You just said a second ago, bitch. I just want the nut and leave, but now he's like, it's
But
nothing
that's what
like
I'm
the human
the
touch.
warmth of the human touch.
What I'm saying though, like grabbing the ass, all that stuff, like it's just that feeling, like it's just sticking my dick in a box, bro. That's just. I feel like that would be a low point in my life.
That's until you tried that new J Lo update.
Listen,
It
If
got
it's
that
got the-
J-Lo
J-Lo
update.
herself, I have no issues.
we've got some market data. We're gonna need to have a very rigorous ad campaign.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to change people's minds about it. But I think whether people realize it or not, and I like that story that you gave about the commune, because I think it is a good illustration of it. Whether people realize it or not, they're frenzied in their hormones and they can't think clearly.
Yeah.
Whether you realize it or not, at the end of it all, you want another human being that you can relate with and that you have understanding with, even if it doesn't seem that valuable right now, because you're caught up on, does he make at least 100,000? Because you're caught up on, is his penis at least 9 inches? Because you're caught up on, does she got a big fake ridiculous ass? Does she got some fat ass titties? If that's what you're caught up on, that's blinding you, and it's holding you back, because once you get on the other end of that and you get exhausted and you've sucked and fucked and come to there's just nothing left of you, at the other end of that you're gonna be like, man, I would like somebody who just knows me, like
Right.
who just understands me, that I talk to and totally gets, understands what to do when I'm upset, understands what to do to de-escalate me when I'm flying off the handle, that can read me and knows before I even say, what's on my mind, like, or I don't have to have any posturing in front of whatsoever.
Right.
Like, whether we realize it or not, society, especially the society that we live in, we are fucking forced to lie every moment of the day. Our whole life outside of our house is lies. It's all lies. None of this shit that we do is really natural. It's all posturing. It's all things that have kind of, there's enough threats to kind of get us to go along with it. But we're really just, we're programmed Babylonian mice to go out there and project whatever we've seen on the screen, and we say the things that we know we're supposed to say, and we do the things that but it's after a while, it's just like it's very easy to lose yourself if you don't have somebody that's involved with you in an intimate way, that you can just truly be who you are in front of, and
It helps. It
Well,
helps.
and I think that people confuse that impulse and that longing and that urge with consumerism and product placement. Like that's what you want, but what you think you want is because that's all that advertising is. Like, hey, your life is empty and meaningless. Here's something that'll fill the void. Psych! But hey, we already got your money. So we're always being sold some shit we don't need, and we're always made to feel like we ain't shit if we don't have it. And we've just applied those same principles to like mate seeking. You know, gotta have 100,000, gotta have this, gotta have that, gotta. But it's like, nah, that's the buyer's remorse, like product shit. That's advertising.
Yeah.
Like what you want is an ad. Like have you seen a food model? Like you would never. I remember they taught that us in school, and I got maybe we were still actually learning legitimate shit when we went to school. It's not like it is now, but one of the people I forget came in and like talked to us like, yeah, when you see that hamburger, that shit ain't even cooked.
Right.
Like you couldn't eat that. That's not real food. Like they just dress it up. That's why when you go and you buy it, it never looks like that. It can't look like that.
Right.
That shit is not edible. But you're convinced that that's what you want. You are being advertised unedible relationships. You can't eat them shits. They look nice. It looks like it makes sense. There's no happiness on the other end. You're poisoning yourself with inedible hamburger relationships.
Facts. Absolute facts. It's the same. Like it's like if you ask somebody what they want on a car lot, and people say, I want the red one with the tires, and I want it to have a wing on the back. I want these cool headlights. I want lights under the bottom. I want it to do 200 miles an hour. And they give you that car, and you roll it off the lot, and the engine starts smoking. Nobody says I want I want a car that's gonna drive 100,000 miles. I want one that's reliable. I want a car that'll never break down. Like, these are fundamental things about the vehicle that you should consider first, but most people consider the cosmetics, the brand name. You know, how many doors does it have? Like, shit like that. Nobody's like, well, can it get me from here to California? They don't think about that. They're just looking at the cosmetic shit. That's how we're treating people in relationships. Like, what kind of woman do you want? I want a woman that all my friends want to fuck. Like, hold on.
I want a level 5 boner Wi-Fi bitch.
Right. That 5G boner Wi-Fi. Like, this might not be the criteria you want to use when you start to build your mate. It could be some other things that you could be taking into consideration here, and then it's gonna take a while for them to even be honest. Because this dude's out here that is like, I want her to hold me in my time of need, but he ain't gonna say that because he's an alpha. All I want you to do is cook and vacuum and fuck. That's not true, bro.
These niggas are full of shit. When they
will it get me from California to New York? No, it's gonna explode 5 miles into your trip.
Right.
I'll take it. It's
it's
gonna
red.
explode.
As long as it's red.
It's gonna explode 5 miles into your trip and then sue you for child support. Where do I sign?
For kids that's not even yours.
That's why you gotta. That's why you gotta be patient, bro. Don't stick your dick in crazy.
And again, let's go back to this. A lot of the reasons that people have these expectations and these criteria is because they've already fucked their pair bonding.
Yeah.
They've already destroyed their pair bonding. Because I'm gonna keep it real, and it may be this might sound soft to some men who are listening to this. I don't give a shit. You supposed to be starry-eyed after you fuck. Let's just keep it real. You're not supposed to be like, get up and leave because you're done. You're supposed to be laying there taking deep breaths, daydreaming about the future. You're supposed to be head over heels in love when you're done. That's the chemical process. When you have sex with people, you shouldn't be able to just get up and walk away and be glad. Like, if you're happier, so you're happy when you're having the sex, then there's this awkward in between, and then once you get outside to your car, you're happy again because you got away from the bitch. You're doing sex wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing
That's
sex
how
wrong.
you know she ain't the one.
Nope, that's not. She could have been if your pair bonding wasn't destroyed. If your pair bonding wasn't, you can't find the one if you destroyed your pair bonding, because everything's the same, and you're looking and you're chasing a dragon that doesn't exist. Like, she didn't do no 360 spins on my shit, so she ain't the one.
Right, but when she does, but see, this is the thing, is you fucked up your tolerance, and just like any drug addict, like, I got to get something stronger. Let's graduate to fentanyl, and then fentanyl is the chick that does the 360, and then you do get that euphoria, like, finally. I got this thing that I've been seeking ever since the first time I fucked. Like,
Don't ask her about
what?
her past.
Right? It's like, what was it about her that was able to do it? It's like, yeah, because she's on her way to the gangbang now.
Right.
Like
She was
she's
practicing. That was the
Liam
warm
Neeson.
up.
She's got a certain set of skills.
Yeah.
And right, so it's like now you've kind of conditioned yourself to like, I need hardcore crack. Like I need crack. My girls have to be cracked. Like I need frog eyes. I need to be fucked up. Like I need a girl that's just super high potency sexually. And you're right. Once you wear off the magic of how it's supposed to work, it is like you've opened up this Pandora's box. You can't close it. You've created an appetite for yourself, and you're constantly going to be chasing, recreating that sensation, and you just can't. It's supposed to come with all these other things, and we've just been conditioned as society. And if you really want to break it down to like the natural order of things, like the whole point of fuck, not the whole point, right? Because we fuck without creating children, but that's ultimately what it is. Like you're creating babies, you're creating the future, you're creating the destiny of the human species.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're doing. You have creative power, and if you're taking that on, and and we've created a culture where it's like we've removed that as a potential outcome, it kind of fucked everything up. Because if you had it in your head, like if the simulation was reprogrammed and it was like, look, every chick that you fuck will have your baby. There's no way around it. Even if you pull out, she's gonna have your baby.
There's gonna be a lot less fucking.
That's a fact.
And a lot more selective fucking. But here's the thing. Once the chick has 2 babies, that's it. There's no more babies. You keep fucking her as much as you want, but there's
Then
no more babies after that.
Single mothers of 2 would be the most sought after women in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're not making a good case right now.
No. Hold on. Wait. No. Yes, once new semen is introduced, more babies can be made.
Oh, okay.
Damn, that just broke the whole system right there.
You can only
There's gonna be a lot of single mothers with 2 kids being fucked.
Right. I had to rethink my strategy to make this work.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's like, that's gonna be the hot. If you're on Instagram and you're like, yo, I got 2 kids, what's up? They will be in your DMs. But I just mean like, yo, if you had that, if you know, like, okay, I'm gonna be bound to this woman as a person, right? Even if we don't want to live together, we have to raise these kids together. She can take me to court. There's some set of responsibility and commitment to that human being. Because the reality is, we're fucking a lot of people that we don't want to make any commitments to, and we have a civilization that really enables us. Culture enables us to do that. Well, but what the I mean, if it fucks up our ability to be good at making families and to be like honorable men, like it's really tough. Because if we get too good at being successful, we have all of these chances to get pussy, and it's a rite of passage. Like, this is a part of your success. You're worth $400 million. Of course you can fuck anybody that you want.
Right.
You know, there's no societal pressure to be like, nah, this is a sacred creative power. Like, you know, you should understand the ramifications of everything that goes along with this. But that's what I'm saying. If you knew, look, I want to fuck this new pussy, but I guarantee I have a baby out of this. You know what I mean? Like if anything, like all of these groupie chicks, they should have a no pullout clause. Like dudes have NDAs.
A no pullout clause.
Could you imagine how hard it would be to cheat? Because there's the evidence. Nah, I ain't do it. The DNA test came back. Of course. 2 of these kids are yours. It's undeniable.
Damn.
This bitch brought 2 kids to the house. They're both yours. The simulation doesn't lie. You wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to get away with it. If you were guaranteed to have a lifelong commitment to somebody in some capacity every time you fucking would take on a new dimension of responsibility. It just, you'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go into the man machine. I'm not ready for that. I'm going to play some X-Men. I'm going to drink a beer, and I'm going to get, what's that chick's name? Oh, fuck. God damn it, Common carried her. I can't remember her in the movie. It was Domino or some shit. He's carrying her down the stairs. Something Aces or something.
Oh, you
Alicia
talking
Keys.
Alicia
Smoking
Keys?
Aces.
I want the Alicia Keys download. I want to know what it's like. And I'm just gonna use the man machine. Cause you know what? I don't want to raise these two kids with this crazy bitch. It's not worth it. But as long as there's pussy without getting caught, without ruining your marriage, without creating a baby, without any other ramifications, then yeah, you could trivialize it like that. And our whole culture is centered around making that happen. Like, look, we got condoms, we got clinics. We'll make sure that there's no life creating. We will make sure the fucking is as empty as the relationships. Don't worry, nothing will come from it. We'll center all our technology and R&B songs around this principle.
Damn. Yeah, it's rough. I don't even know. I don't even know what kind of advice really to give to people at this point because they're so deep into the entitlement of meaningless sex because of how bad they've been, pressed with this idea of, well, not even this generation hasn't been pressed with it. Even the one before hasn't been. But by the time I was young, my grandparents and all that wasn't telling me nothing about getting married or meet a nice girl you can marry and have kids with. They wasn't saying that shit to me. That I think that went away with that generation. They were all just like, yo, do what you do. They didn't really engage in those types of conversations with me. So where this
Depends on the culture.
Yeah, probably. But the thing is, people have these entitlements because of this patriarchal, puritanical shit that we're evolving out of. That you're entitled to have meaningless sex, and your biology is not. It's just not set up for that. That's just the truth. It's always going to mean something. It's gonna have a lot more meaning than you maybe want to admit to yourself. But it's always going to mean something. And there's going to be a day that comes when you get out of your sexual prime and you probably be you counting your last boners, bro. You know what I'm saying? The boner bank is running dry, and you gonna be wishing you could have took some of those meaningless ones back. I wish I had a few more. I wish I had 30 or 40 more boners. The ones I wasted at the strip club private room. I wish I had those back. But it is what it is. What if you knew how many orgasms you could have? Like, what if that came with your birth certificate? When you turn 18, like when you born, your birth certificate has a number on it. It's like 743. That's all you get. Those are all the orgasms you get for your entire life. That'd be a cool concept. Because I remember there was a movie once about how people lived as long as they had like time. It was like, you had like this weird,
Justin Timberlake in it.
Yeah, the digital watch thing, so you could get 700 years on your shit. You just wouldn't age as long as you had time. So maybe people should have limited number of orgasms. That would change society deeply.
There's some sick people out there. Those people got them penile surgeries. They put a metal pole in there, so it's like a 24-hour boner. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's silly.
What?
But,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who was it that somebody told me that when you take when dudes who take a Viagra, they feel like they're wearing a strap on. They're not even attached to their boners. Like, they don't have the sexual arousal, like none of the shit that you would have under normal circumstances. But it's just there, rock hard for no reason. So you feel like you're wearing a strap on. You detach from it. So what's even the point?
I was watching an interview. Had Rico Strong in it, and he was talking about how he was basically saying that's what the Europeans are doing, but basically like there's shots for your dick, and it's hard for like an hour. he was like, it makes no sense.
For what?
This shit would not go down until an hour is over.
That seems like a hassle.
Bro, I'm good, right? As soon as I flipped you, dipped you, and you're satisfied. There's nothing more that needs to be done after that.
Look, nobody's perfect. We always invoke the Cosby principle on this show: rapes but saves. All human beings are rapists and savers. Yeah, at our best, at our worst, it's all a part of it. Kevin Samuels, if you really think about it, for as much of advice as he gave, like, he didn't connect deeply with somebody. Like, he died on top of a chick filled with boner pills and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Like, if you're really talking about it, like, yeah, you could get the pussy. You had the nice suit. You were a high value dude. but did you really connect with somebody in a deep way? Like if you check out of this world, you know what I'm saying, not on your deathbed holding the hand of the woman who's been with you all your life, right?
Nope.
But a stranger that you pop some dick pills and some Red Bull. You know, like that is there's a detachment there.
Bro, ever since I seen X as a kid, that scene has always been in my head where dude fell over the chick. Like
Oh yeah, died on top of him.
I could never like that. When I tell you that scene has been in my head like ever since I seen X, and it's just like I'm like I never want to grow up. Like I never want to be some old nigga dying over a young woman.
That's the best. Is there? Can you think of a better way to go other than just
Bro,
sleeping? Can you think of a
fuck
better
that.
way to go?
Fuck that. No, I want to die happy, like in my sleep, smoking marijuana. Fuck all that. I don't want to be dying in a mid nut.
Dude, listen. If there was ever a time to teleport,
the air.
if there was ever a time to teleport out into the galaxy, that's it. That's
Right,
the
because
time
as you're
there.
as you're ascending into the ether, you're just looking at us like that's boss.
Yeah. What
That's
if you
pretty fucking boss.
what
I want
if
to be
you
high
keep
on
that?
shrooms while smoking a blunt.
What if
That's
you
how I
keep
want
that energetic state as you blast out into particles in the universe? You stay right there, right mid bust. You're like, and then you go, and you just stay that way forever. You stay that way until you're reborn. bro.
Eternal orgasm.
You're probably like clenching you're trying to clench your body back. Like, I don't want to let go.
Nah,
as you're being pulled away.
it's traumatic. It's traumatic for the girl. It's definitely traumatic for that poor young girl.
Now she'll be
Oh,
alright. She'll be
I
alright.
hope she never knows I found out that happened, but I'm gonna be joking on her ass.
No, you can't. You can't. You know why?
Kills nigga.
That's right. She gonna be like that woman on Twitter. She gonna be like, "Yo, I already took one of y'all motherfuckers out with it. You better be careful. You better be that's gonna be in her. That's gonna be in her Tinder bio eventually.
Yeah.
I
I've
fucked the
killed-
dude to death.
That has to be like part of your license, bro. Like a nigga died on me.
Yeah, I took him out. I took him off of here. I took him off of here, yo.
Oh,
It has
man.
to be your profile.
Yeah, that's
Yo,
going
but
in her
that-
Tinder profile for sure.
but it's just but there's an emptiness. There is the emptiness. I definitely agree with you to die mid orgasm, and then it's codified now in the compendium. If you die mid orgasm, you just become in a perpetual eternal orgasm in the ether.
I love
Oh
it.
shit.
But it's sad. It's like cause I didn't know about that dude until he died. Apparently he was a big deal.
Yeah.
So I had to watch some of his movies, and he
It's
just
only because black women hated him, bro. That's like he was just like, cause you know who I really liked back in the day was Tyreek. He was a pretty good one too. He kind of fell off a little bit cause he'd be on his wild shit, but like he used to give advice also, but like he just the way he wrote his books about like how to be a pimp. I don't remember the titles, but basically like you can be a player if you're not looking for a wife, but if you're looking for a wife, you can use this advice to get you a wife. Like he was just basically like telling motherfuckers the truth. Like if you're 500 pounds and you're looking for a 100-pound nigga, like that, it's not gonna work out for you. Like and then it just he got popular because his videos always show him like trashing black women, but he was trashing everybody.
Okay, so this is the prototype before Kevin Samuels. This Tyreek gentleman. I'm not familiar with him.
You
You-
talking about
you know-
Tariq Nasheed?
Tariq Nasheed, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we know.
know, yeah,
Yeah, that's
we
the
know
that's the
Tariq.
pimp grifter of the century, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't take him seriously. I don't know. I think Kevin Samuels had a level of sincerity to him that I just don't see that was present in Tariq. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't around for early Tariq Nasheed. I know Tariq
His
Nasheed.
early work, it was a little bit like good advice, but like I don't know, man. Like I really don't know what like I can't really explain how he's moved these days. I stopped watching him. Like he's pretty much clickbait in my eyes. Like he just says like wild shit, and then like you just watch him for like 2 hours eating chips in his live stream.
He's funny. Listen, that's Ho Talk. Is one of the best lines of all time. It's Ho Talk.
Yeah, he's a super grifter.
So I just feel like, and I don't know. It's just my impression. Like I don't get the vibe from Tariq Nasheed that he really cares about the improvement of anybody's life other than his own. I just
Yeah,
that's
that's what pisses me off about him, because like he made documentaries about Haiti, right? And then now he's with his little
and buck breaking.
and
Let's not forget buck breaking.
Ah,
he made he made all those documentaries supposedly like about like the black race in whole, right? And then now he's on like his what's the FBA stand for again? Whatever you call
foundational
foundational
Black
black
Americans.
Americans. So
Goofy
now
shit.
he's shitting on like all like the outside
Yeah, fuck you,
Negroes.
West Indies motherfuckers.
Yeah, which is like so
Y'all ain't
weird.
the real motherfuckers.
You brought like all these West Indies and Africans together, and then now all of a sudden it's like fuck y'all
Nah,
niggas.
y'all don't care. But that's what I'm saying. It's he's going wherever the wind blows. I think his
Yeah.
only commitment is to his pocketbook and his own life. Like I got a different vibe in the videos that I watched from Kevin Samuels, even though he was sincere. This could be blasphemous. I don't know. But I feel like he's the other end of the coin of like a Tommy Sotomayor. I feel like it's a person who's saying some shit that's super duper harsh, but there's a level of sincerity and care there. Like
Right.
If he's
underneath,
telling the truth, it has to be sincere.
and,
Like
and I
that's
and I
that's
think
the
he-
miss. That's the miss. That's what a lot of women don't understand. If someone's telling you the truth, there's deep sympathy in it.
yeah, and I just felt like, in what I watched, like he was, because when I saw, I mean, I watched like the best of, I watched a couple of those best of videos where I guess it was the ones that got the highest reaction,
Yeah.
and he was always calm. He always said it in a polite tone, but he's clearly autistic. The dude had a high IQ, but he definitely had that I don't really understand emotions that much. Like, so I only know how to tell you the truth. Like when you start getting that IQ range of like 140, 150, 160, like he struck me as like one of those dudes. Like he's just, kind of awkward, kind of uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Kind of, but I felt like there was and I could be wrong, but I just felt like there was a sincerity with him of like, I want to help people. I feel like if you're having this problem, I can give you advice that would be helpful. And I think that there was I just feel like there was just a greater level of sincerity with, I hope what I'm saying could be helpful rather than I just want to say some wild shit to get some attention. That's
Watch
why I
his-
can't put him in the same
Watch his
grouping as
no
Tariq Nasheed.
watch his no jumper interview. You get a better understanding of him.
Yeah, I watched the Vlad interview.
The no
Yeah.
jumper, the no jumper is better because Vlad
I'll
does
peep it.
but the no jumper, he's talking straight in. But yeah, I felt the same way. But time can only tell with these people when they become like YouTube celebrities.
Yeah, if he wouldn't have fucked himself to death, he might have lived long enough to be in Hidden Colors 14, like
Yeah.
with Tariq Nasheed.
Yeah, you can't be sport fucking at that age, man.
No, dude. Well, he was in his 50s, wasn't he?
Yeah, especially
late
it's-
50s.
Yeah, and especially if he was already had health issues because I think he said he was diagnosed with like Hodgkin's lymphoma when he was 20 something.
But
Yeah.
he was already fucking prostitutes. Like he's been said he has no problem fucking
Yeah, but
prostitutes.
dude, Red Bull and dick pills,
Right,
Bro,
you bugging.
this-
like,
I don't do none of that shit, bro. Cause I don't know, man. I think it's just because like the profession that I'm into, so I pay attention to certain things.
all that
like,
shit is poison. I
all
don't
that
trust
shit.
none of that shit.
All that shit is no good, bro. Like if you know Viagra was meant to be heart medicine, and your dick being hard was just a bonus, you should know you should learn the effects of what heart medicines do to you in the long run. Like
Right.
it's all bad.
The point
And then
is,
the gas station shit.
oh please,
Them fucking let me not say it that way, but them dudes that come from different countries are not looking out for your best interests when they're selling shit to poor black people in the hood.
no, the point is, like, think about, and maybe this might be some lackluster idea to some people, but the sex you would be having at 50 something with somebody you've been with for the last 30 years is different than the sex you have as a 50-year-old man who just met a new chick and you want to impress her. She's 20 years younger than you. You want Viagra and Red Bull. That's like a whole different physical experience than what you would be doing with your wife at 50.
Yeah, push rope with your wife.
At least if you're gonna put
Yeah, let
But you
her-
You want
let
to
her
bang out a
love.
50-year-old.
Nah, let her love every soft spot on your dick. Your
Yeah.
dick becomes a baby's fontella or whatever. At some point, it's like Patrice O'Neal said. Your dick gets soft spots. There's
Yeah.
soft spots. It's
And it's
gonna
gonna take
have
some
soft
time.
spots.
So, somebody
Welcome.
who really cares about you is going to have to nurse that out. You don't get to do that in front of a 28-year-old Spanish chick who you just met 2 days ago.
Yo,
She's gonna be like, yo, get it
she
cracking,
was
poppy.
banging too. You seen her body? Holy
It,
shit!
it could be banging, but listen, it's hard to eat strange pussy. If you just and you're gonna
Oh
have to work
man.
your way up to it. It's like, hey, stranger, can I just
Oh
lick your box?
You'll be
no.
You,
surprised. You'll be surprised how many guys go straight.
oh,
Oh, bro, I
it's
seen it. I seen it in real life. Check, yo. One time when I was probably 17 years old, and I used to work at a couple strip clubs in New Jersey because I had a full beard since I was 14, so I could be a bouncer at the strip club at 17. I went to this club with my cousin, and this chick was going down the bar letting guys eat her box, a stripper, and my cousin was sitting right next to me, and he did it too. And he looked,
I
he
couldn't do
yo,
it.
he yo. Listen, she went to 5 guys before him. She just would stop at the bar, open the lid, and they would just dive in. When it got, and he the whole time we're looking at these guys disgusted. We're looking down the bar like, "Are you
Not your
fucking-"
cousin.
No, we both were. We both were. We were
Not your
disgusted.
cousin.
But
Your
when
Right.
she
cousin
got
was like,
to
"I'm
him,
next."
when she got to him, he looked over at me, and the look on his face just said, "Sorry, bro." He looked over at me with, he was apologetic. He shrugged his shoulders. He was like, I gotta, I'm sorry. And he dived right in. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But this is the thing. Like I said, there's magic in them there hills, bro. Like you can get hypnotized. You can get hypnotized. Under the right circumstances, he would have thunk his way out of that. But he was in the strip club, the lights, the woman, like all of these things played a part together. And he was like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
And I love eating pussy, and I consider myself masterful at it. I could not eat strange pussy.
No, nope.
It
Mm-mm.
it's
Mm-mm.
this all pH balances, chemicals,
Nah, big.
residual man juice that hasn't been pulled out by your mushroom.
Peter
There's all
Tracks.
kinds. Yeah, this just you just don't know. You don't know. I can't because it's a mystery. Like and women could complain about sucking dick. You see exactly what you're getting with a dick. There's no mysteries. You see the bumps, you see the veins, you see the contours. It's all out there. I'm spelunking in a cavernous space. I don't know everything that's going on in there.
My soul is
It's
grimacing
tough.
right now. My whole spirit is grimacing right now, bro.
Some guys like to drink the salt water.
Oh
I
no,
can't do
no,
it.
no! That's worse than chowder from the chute, bro. You don't want to be dealing with that kind of shit. But hey, listen. I guess it just depends on what you into. If that's what you into, go for it, buddy. I'm not gonna
Yeah, I
shame you for
suppose.
it. I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
shame
no,
you
no.
for
We
it.
don't shame here.
No,
Just personal preference. That's all
it's
I'm
not for
saying.
me. But
Go for it.
the bottom line here is, I think, as far as the sexual politics shit go, people just have to. Oh, I mean, they don't have to. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But anybody who's looking for a solution to this shit, whether it's a male or female, I think the idea, the solution is the same. Stop being tied to these concepts and ideas that people are feeding you about relationships. If you can't spend time with a person, if you can't sit down and talk to them about shit that ultimately doesn't matter, like that's really what it comes down to. And you can spend a lot of time in expensive restaurants and clubs and on yachts and on trips and all of that shit, but eventually everything's going to quiet down. The party's going to be over, people are going to leave, and you should be hanging out with a person who it doesn't make you uncomfortable, or it doesn't immediately trigger anxiety or cause an argument when there's nothing really happening, because there's some shit like that. And when you in between vacations or you in between dates and events, it's not good. You have to stay active for things to be to even feel decent. That's the only time. Either you banging or you're at the club, and that's when y'all like each other. But everything else in between is an argument. You got to let go of some of these fucking stringent parameters. If you're looking for a solution and shit's not working for you, if shit's working for you, keep doing whatever it is you're doing that's working. But if you feel frustrated and you can't figure it out, especially dudes, because they've been lied to so hard. This whole alpha shit, and you supposed to be this cold, calculating pipe layer. That's not real. That's not real. That's what the people, these bitter guys who've relegated themselves to renting out sugar babies and
Fucking
paying.
bimbos all the
Right,
time.
right. If
Look,
that's what,
if you
yeah,
but if you not that, you're not gonna be able to lie to a girl that you are. They can
yeah,
smell that
that's
shit.
true.
Yeah,
That's
They
true.
know,
right
and
away.
you're like, oh, so you see yourself that way. Okay, I see how I need to play this dude. Like
Right.
you're setting yourself up for failure. And I would say keep in mind too, um, just think about all the other people who are selling you solutions that never like think of your favorite politician. You know, if you're a Republican, hey, we're never gonna raise taxes. We promise. Well, hey, listen, somebody's got to get the debt under control. They always raise the debt. Listen, we need to stop fighting all these wars. Let's go to war. Let's bomb some people. You know, if you're a Democrat, hey, no, we love the hood. We're gonna fix the hood. The hood's been suffering in perpetuity, perpetuity, or whatever it's
In
called, for it
perpetuity.
in perpetuity. Thank you, sir. And it's never gonna get fixed. Like, listen, I could cure AIDS, but what if I just give you this medication for 50 years that'll keep you alive? Like, there's no profit in the cure, right? So politicians are never gonna solve problems. Companies are only going to provide solutions that have a long-term revenue model. And you got to think of these YouTubers as the same thing. They're not trying to cure you. Like, they're telling you what you want to hear that's resonating with you, wherein there is no solution. It's an infomercial. It's an infomercial to lay out your relational misery. You know, it's not going to get you to where you want to go. You're not going to find the dude that loves you and that you're comfortable with in sweatpants and doing nothing. You know, just sitting around the house doing nothing, but you're content and happy. You're not going to find that, but by somebody stoking the flames of your resentment and your
Right,
anger
right.
and all that. You just not going to have. And that's how I think that's how people, especially that manosphere shit that you put me. Some of those dudes that you sent me in their videos, I don't know what that dude Rollo, what they're insane people. I've been seeing them. I'm like, yo, you really got people sold on this shit that you're an alpha male?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah.
Are you crazy?
And Rollo's married.
I
Rollo
listen,
Tomasi's married, bro. He talks a great game, but I bet you he like met his wife when he was 19 or some shit like that. He's probably been with her for 30 years. So he's speaking from a person who's learned some things, and he's presenting some game to people who are out in the dating market today. But I guarantee you, he don't use those type of tactics with his own wife. No way.
no. No, not unless she's chained to a radiator and hasn't been taught English. Like, there's no way. There's no, but they just think they're not telling you what it's actually gonna take for you to make happy. Because you know what it is. It's the same thing. Okay, I go to the doctor. Oh, let me give you this heart medicine. Like you said, Doobie, you around that shit, so you know. It's like, but no doctor's gonna tell you this shit. Look, man, this shit's gonna have some long term effects. It's gonna fuck you up in the long run. Let me tell you something better. You don't even need this fucking expensive medication. Eat right, exercise. Here's the things they're not giving you that answer, because that answer doesn't involve them, doesn't involve some shit that they could sell you. They would rather give you some shit that'll make them money, but it'll be more harmful to you in the long run than to actually give you the pathway to healing. And that's how this shit is too. Like, yeah, let me tell you some toxic shit that ain't really gonna get you anywhere, but it sounds good, it resonates with you, but you're not gonna make any real progress. You know, because that's the profitable answer I can give you. It's like, nah, it ain't their little program or their blueprint. It takes something that's like just with the same thing. Yeah, the medication seems like it works, it seems like it's a plan. It's a lot harder to do the healthy shit. It's a lot harder every day to say, yo, I'm gonna eat this healthy shit. I'm gonna exercise. It's a lot harder to get your blood pressure under control doing it that way. And it's the same thing with relationships. The resentment that they're stoking in you and all the shit that they're filling your mind with, it's a lot harder to say, okay, what is the inward work that I need to do, that I need to figure out, that I need to get, what do I need to do to make myself more more apt for success in this undertaking. Like, it's easy just to watch these videos and be like, yeah, you right. Yeah, you right. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna hit the like button.
It don't
We
make
need to
sense.
We need to have a live stream event of 3 heterosexual males doing tarot cards and giving advice to nothing but women.
Oh shit. Oh shit. We got tarot cards. I got oracle cards. We can get into it, bro. Don't.
Telling
Hey,
Make it
you,
a fundraiser,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. We gotta do it.
a
Hey.
telethon, a tarot card telethon
By heterosexual males.
for the compound. We will tell you your answer. Call me now.
They're gonna be like, yo, you're appropriating this. Like, yeah, hell yeah, we are. Hell yeah, we are. We gonna give y'all some real game. We breaking into the spiritual community as 3 heterosexual cavemen. We self-identify as cult leaders, and we coming. We coming. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. So just deal with it. Get ready to start forking
We
over
gotta
the
be like,
donations.
we gotta be blitz in with shrooms too as we're doing it.
And you know I'm down. You know I'm down, bro.
Telling you, we're gonna make a lot of money. I promise you.
Hey, listen. Don't forget we supposed to be starting the OnlyFans. I ain't gonna let y'all forget about that.
Oh, I'm doing it, bro. It's a matter of time.
Look,
I'm
I'm
telling
gonna
you.
send you a picture just from my nose down with like my finger in my mouth with my tongue revealed just a little bit. I'm gonna send you a seductive pic to post on there.
Yeah, we gonna get it cracking. And we just gonna do regular, normal shit, and we gonna present it like if you wanna fight how all of these women are making all of this money on OnlyFans. These are becoming billionaires from OnlyFans. The thing that you can do to help tip the scales in the other direction is pay us to do random mundane shit on OnlyFans. I'm just gonna go outside, walk through the garden, and get some footage, and that's gonna be my OnlyFans video. And that's how you fight this feminized system.
Bro,
That's how you get them back.
there's
Is you pay us for nothing.
There's so many things you could do. I'm telling you. Like,
I feel
I've
like
done-
you've studied this. I feel like
I've
you've done some
done-
deep research.
I've done the research. I've paid.
I have
for
the
cause.
documents.
I have the documents. I'm telling you. You could have a whole live stream of you picking fucking peaches. The people paying $5 to watch you. It's
Listen.
ridiculous.
Hey, listen,
It's
get us a
ridiculous.
spreadsheet, get a proposal, and just type up the proposal and
Ridiculous.
bring it up to the council, and we'll go over it, and then we'll add the OnlyFans to the compendium, and we'll be
You just
breaking
have to
in the
have
dough.
like you have to have like the greatest titles. You know what I'm saying? Pet and pussy, and then it's just like fucking pet and cat stuff.
Yo, I already told you.
Yes.
I told you I'm gonna get one that says black man gets blown for 20 minutes. I'm just gonna just sit in front of the fan.
In front of the fan.
That's what I'm saying. You just
I'm
have,
good
like,
with the titles, bro.
nonstop.
I'm good with the titles.
Nonstop.
Everybody who listens to the podcast knows I got some super inflammatory title skills. I'm sure people be clicking it like, yo, what the fuck is this guy talking about, bro?
Oh, dude, when you're working out in the garden, it's like, watch her get plowed. Watch that sweet peach get plowed.
There it is.
Working the hoe.
Working on the garden, yeah, garden lingo, and propagandize it as, look, if you really serious about getting women back under the foot of traditional men and ending this OnlyFans hypergamy smorgasbord fiasco, what you got to do, it's in the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Netflix didn't start firing the woke people until their numbers started dropping. You got to drop these sorry bitches market cap. And you know how you do that? By putting money into this new company, this new OnlyFans endeavor. When the OnlyFans number for righteous, productive acts start bringing in the revenue that the giant vibrators are doing, then you'll show them, and you'll take away their revenue stream, and then they'll have to be righteous bitches that don't have access to yachts. Then they'll have to consider your lame proposals, but not until you show them that the numbers are on our side. So if you don't give us money on our OnlyFans, you're helping women continue to debase
Listen,
themselves. You're part of the problem.
For every $5 donation, you're saving an Instagram hoe from going to Dubai and getting shitted on or fucked by a 12-year-old.
Yep.
Right. See, and that's it. It's super easy. We just have to
The Lord's
circulate. We got to circulate amongst ourselves. We got to get more dudes like us to start mundane OnlyFans, and we all help each other out. That way, we could take we could shift the paradigm of what's happening.
Hold on,
over there.
wait. I gotta inject some Semitic thinking here. Other dudes doing it as long as they're paying tribute. We've originated it.
Yeah.
We have proprietary rights. You could do it, But if you're not going to be on our page with your mundane acts, you got to kick us up some tribute because you
Yeah.
know it's ours. You know it's
Absolutely.
ours.
Yeah, the cult started this. The cult of dangerous men, gentlemen started this. Don't front. You know that we've done all the work already. We've meandered through absurdity long enough. You know where the good shit comes from. So just pay the tribute. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. We got to start our own mega church with our own ideology, our own compendium of ethics. And the only way we can do it is for people to take money out of the mouths of the gaping maw of whoredom that is OnlyFans and start and put it directly into our bank accounts. This is how you fix the problem. I promise. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but this time it's true. Just give us the
Thi-
money, we'll fix it.
Listen, we could have told you everything that you wanted to hear and just grifted you out of your money, but no, we were honest, and that's why it's a slower build. And you know what? And that's why we call out the grifters. But if you don't believe it, we've committed now. It's got to be at this point thousands of hours. There's thousands of hours of uh, documented absurdity mining that's gotten us to this point. We're doing the work. It's a slow work. At this point, it's thankless work. But we know at the end, it's what's best for humanity. And you can help us achieve these world-changing goals. Racial mania, the police draft, Dante's correctional facility, and Walrus Island. You can make all these things possible. You can do it. You have the power to do it. And you have to take the money out of the gaping maw of whoredom and give it into righteous hands, righteous tarot wielding hands.
I feel like that phrase is gonna stick around. I feel like I like that one. That's gonna have to stay around for a while.
The gaping maw of whoredom is brilliant. It sounds like the play it almost sounds like a street name. Like, yeah, go past the cul-de-sac over there off Warner Street, and then you're going to go past the gaping maw of whoredom,
You make
and the
it right.
7-Eleven will be on the corner. Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to wrap it up, man. I think we had an awesome night tonight. Did some more heavy lifting for sexual politics, the sexual marketplace, and why people hate women so much. And don't for y'all got to look, and everybody take some time. If you're listening to this, please take some time and look into the witch hammer, the what was it called? Wait, let me look it up just so I could get the right name. The witch hammer. It was a witch hunting document that people use to identify, find witches, kill witches, and tell you all the techniques to kill them. It has a lot of really interesting shit to say about women and how they think women are designed and what they're for in society. It's some terrifying shit. It's called the Malleus Maleficarum, translated as the Hammer of Witches. Go check that shit out and see if it don't sound like some of your favorite red pill YouTubers.
They ever kill like wizards? Was it just strictly witches?
No, bro, just witches. Well, some men did get killed, but they never accused them of being magicians. They accused them of being like familiars and helping hide the women. They never accused them. Well, maybe I can't say never because I haven't done all the research. But everything I've seen, the men who died in witch trials and shit like that was because they were accused of protecting or hiding or something. Like, they were never actually accused of being witches or being controlled by Satan. That was just the women. And all of it stems from them being insatiable. That's the spirit of Satan. They're insatiable.
White people's paranoia, boy, it goes deep.
That's some wild shit.
It goes-
Yeah, but check that out and just compare notes to what some of your favorite red pill YouTubers are saying about women, and just tell me how much different it is than the people who wrote the book about how to kill witches. You know, you just might want to know where you're getting some of your source material from. Is all I'm saying. But other than that, everything is awesome. Everything is beautiful. The garden is popping. I'm completely detached from the bullshit of the world. I'm all the way into my Dr. Manhattan energy right now. I'm protecting my peace. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing best right now. So I'm just going to keep high vibing.
Is the way.
Absolutely.
Get that butt.
Y'all brothers, enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Absolutely.
Metaphysics is
Jojo
going
the
to
Barbarian
have to
wants to come
be
on
the
Sunday.
quote-unquote
Let's
religion
get it
of
cracking.
tomorrow. If it
Let's
isn't,
make it happen.
you're
It
fucked.
just as a heads up, his promised that it will be the most controversial show to date.
Oh, shit. Oh, I got to get prepared for this. I'm ready. So yeah, let's touch base. If we need to beef up on any topics or be prepared or anything like that, just let me know. We'll get it cracking.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. This is the Lord's work. Thank you for your contributions.
Absolutely, man. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.
Peace.
Bless.
If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally absolutely. Religion of tomorrow. Religion of tomorrow. Religion of tomorrow.